All right, y'all. We give praise, esteem, and honor to the Most High Yahuwah, by Hashem Yahushua this day. John chapter 5, verse 39. Search the scriptures, for in them you think you have eternal life, and they are they which testify of me. And you will not come to me that you might have life. I receive not honor from men, but I know you, that you have not the love of Elohim in you. I come in my Abba's name, you receive me not. If another shall come in his own name, him you will receive. How can you believe which receive honor one from another, and seek not the honor that comes from Elohim only? Do not think that I will accuse you. There's one that accused you, even Moses, in whom you trust. But had you believed Moses, you would have believed me, for he wrote it. But if you believe not his writings, how shall you believe my words? Shalom, kid. Proverbs chapter 9, verse 10. We got a lot of information to dig through tonight. So strap your boots tight, tighten your belts up. Yep, tighten your belts up. Proverbs 9 and 10 says, the fear of Yahuwah is the beginning of wisdom, and knowledge of the Kadash is understanding. For me by your days shall be multiplied, and the years of your life. She is simple, knows nothing. For she sit at the door of her house, on a seat in the high places of the city, to call passengers who go right on their ways. Whoso is simple, let him turn in hither. As for him that want understanding, she say to him, stolen waters are sweet, bread eaten in secret is pleasant. But he know not that the dead are there, and that our guests are the depths of hell. So we already know the fear of Yahuwah is beginning of wisdom, and knowledge Kadash is understanding. We started to look at a few things before things got caught up. Now I can't even remember the track of which we took. So give me a moment as I ponder how I began that the knowledge of Kadash is understanding. I don't even remember. But let's just deal with and do it like this. We've been talking about a few things here and there. And I know I went into talking about idols before the stream went to malfunctioning. So that's what we're going to be looking at, the various places in dealing with idols. When you have the knowledge of the Kadash, you have the knowledge of that which is understanding. So this is what I want to do. This is what I want to do. How I want to do it. The first thing that I want to do is I want to go to 1 John chapter 5 and verse 17. Because Yahuwah is not bringing it to mind. So clearly, that ain't what the direction that I began is not a direction we're going to do right now. If it be Yah's will, it'll make its way. 1 John 5 and 17. Make that 18. 1 John 5 and 18. It says, we know that whosoever is born of Elohim sins not. But he that is begotten of Elohim keep himself, and that wicked one touch him not. Shalom, man. And we know that we are of Elohim, and the whole world lie in wickedness. Now, this is a whole key point what I want y'all to understand and know. Stop acting simple, as if you don't know that the whole world lies in a perpetual state of wickedness. I don't care about your favorite actor. I don't care about your favorite TV show. I don't care about your favorite musician or entertainer. The whole world lies in wickedness. Bottom line, point blank, period. And if you took the time to research the things that are before your face, you would be utterly amazed and appalled. But I want you to come over here to Job chapter 9. Because Job has, in the book of Job, this has been told to you. But see, we're not going to use it in the context that most people do, because it don't make no sense to do it. We'll pick this up at about verse 17 of Job chapter 9. This is Job speaking. And I just want y'all to know that for context. This is Job speaking. Make it verse 16. He say, if I had called, he answered me, yet would I not believe that he hearkened unto my voice. For he break with me with the tempest and multiply my wounds without cause. Remember, Yahushua said they hated me without a cause. There was no cause, no rhyme, or no reason. But remember, whosoever is born of Elohim does not sin. I might well do this here, man. I was talking with the brother about that earlier, man. But hold on, I'll just wait. He will not suffer me to take my breath, but fill me with bitterness. If I speak of strength, lo, he is strong. And if of judgment, who shall set a time to plead? If I justify myself, my own mouth shall condemn me. See, that's why Paul said in Romans 3, come over here to Romans 3, because a lot of people play with this here, man. And the judge just disgusts me to the utmost. He said, if I should justify my own self, my mouth should condemn me. If I say I'm perfect, it shall also prove me perverse. See, some people sit back and say, see, can't nobody be righteous. But see, look at what he tell you right here in Romans 3:1. Romans 3:1. Look what he tell you, right? What advantage then have the Yahudim, or what profit is there of circumcision? He say much every way, chiefly because that unto them were committed the oracles of Elohim. Now I want you to remember that. The oracles of Elohim were committed unto you. He say, for what if some did not believe? How their unbelief make the faith of Elohim without effect? Elohim forbid. Yea, let Elohim be true, but every man a liar. See, people play with that. But you got to remember what Numbers 23:19 says. He said, Elohim is not a man that he should lie, nor the son of a man that he should repent. He said, if he say it, shall he not do it? See, if these ignorant bastards knew the law, they would know why he would say, Elohim be true, and let every man be a liar. They would know why he would say that, because they would know the law. So it wouldn't even be no juxtaposition. They would know the text. This is why he say, if I justify myself, my own mouth is going to condemn me. Just hold on, right? Because this is why I say that you might be justified in your sayings and you might overcome when you are judged. Because see, the only way you're going to overcome is you're going to have to be justified by the word. That's why he say, if I justify myself, I'm going to condemn myself. Let me drop down to the verse that I'm really referring to with Paul. He said, but if our righteousness can commend the righteousness of Elohim, what shall say we say? If Elohim is Elohim unrighteous who take vengeance, I speak as a man. Elohim forbid, for then how shall Elohim judge the world? For if the truth of Elohim have abounded through my lie under his esteem, why am I also judged as a sinner? See, that's what people playing word games. But he say, I'm speaking as a man because all men are liars. So if the truth of Elohim is being esteemed through my lie because I'm a man, why are you judging me a sinner? And all that take you back to when Yahushua say, if I tell you, if he said, if which one of you convicts me of a sin? He said, if I tell you the truth, why don't you believe me? See, like I said, right? I would tell them the people this here, man. Like, you got niggas who say a lot of things that, this is a Canaanite religion and all this stuff is mixed and melded and Yahuwah ain't real. We even gonna read about the person who they claim is Yahuwah's wife. If you weren't familiar, that's what them Jewish people be talking about. But come on back over here to Job 9:21. See, there's a lot of stuff going on out here to where you would need to recognize it. You need to recognize, you would know it when you see it. And when you see it, your desire to be a partaker in it may diminish. It should diminish if you know what you was actually looking at. Most people don't even know what they're actually looking at. So then you mistakenly and unwittingly participate in idolatry or idolatrous festivals, unbeknownst to you. Every Hebrew and their mammy were going crazy about July 4th, but I shared that information with y'all this morning. July 4th ain't got nothing to do with Independence Day. July 4th is the celebration and veneration of Midsummer's Eve. They just tell you that's why they set off the firecrackers, because they burned stuff and did all type of other stuff, and they reveled. They got drunk. They partied. They ate. You know what I'm saying? But that's a whole other thing. Ain't got nothing to do with Independence Day. You see, the problem is you focusing on your things, on the things of man, and you're not realizing these people still worshiping their deities. They ain't stopped. They just cloaking it, and niggas joining in. And that's all we worried about. 4th of July is not our day. We weren't set free that day. Why you worried about them being set free, nigga? They worshiping another God, nigga. They know you don't know, but you doing it. That's all they care about. You ain't got enough sense to take the time to find it out. That every holiday in America, regardless if it's idolatrous on the surface, is idolatrous under the surface. I don't care if it's Memorial Day. I don't care if it's Labor Day. I don't care if it's Mother's Day. I don't care if it's Father's Day. They are venerating the mother goddess on a majority of these days, or they're worshiping the elements. Period. This is what they've always done, and they will continue to do it, and they're preparing you for the eventual worship of the beast. Period. You know what I'm saying? They're preparing you for idolatry. The main piece of idolatry, I should say. The final idolatry. That's what they're preparing you for. And you skinning and grinning, clapping your hands right along with it. But see, this is the main thing for me is to protect the children. Because we know that's all women scream when you say we don't do that. What about the children? So you're really talking about yourself. Because you have the mind of a child. Because ain't no 3-4-year-old thinking about no Christmas, no Thanksgiving, no 4th of July, no none of that. Unless you taught it to them. They're ignorant of the fact. They don't know nothing about it. So you're the child. You don't want to lose that. You understand? That's why I told y'all a couple weeks ago, I ain't never heard a man say, what about the children for a holiday? Ever. Not that I can recall. I ain't never heard it. You know what I'm saying? But I mentioned that for that cause because the children don't have the discernment. If you're looking at something and you can discern that it's idolatry in it or the veneration of another god, that's one thing. But these kids don't. So that means you're sending them to be programmed. You're sending them for programming to where they are desensitized to idolatry and the revelry of the rites of these idolatrous gods, and therefore they will participate. And you can roll the dice and find out if you want to, but if your child grow up to be a sinner, don't say you weren't warned. 9:21, he said, though I were perfect, yet I would not know my soul. I would despise my life. This one thing, therefore, I said, he destroyed the perfect and the wicked. If the scourge lay suddenly, he will laugh at the trial of the innocent. And we done went over this before. This is the gospel, but we didn't come here for that. He said the earth is given into the hand of the wicked. He covered the faces of the judges thereof. If not, where and who is he? Well, the earth in this instance, if we take it gospel style, is Yahushua, because he was given into the hand of the chief priest. He told Peter that the Son of Man is to be delivered into the hand of sinners. And he covered the eyes of the judges because the judges screamed to crucify him, this, that, there, and the third. And all this let you know is the whole world lie and wickedness, because Yahushua had to lie in the wickedness of man. But nevertheless, I went to come back to Proverbs 9 because I started off with and I'll probably have to come back to the fear Yahuwah verses 10 and 11 and 12. But I came to the foolish woman is clamorous. She's simple, knowing nothing. Because you got a lot of our women screaming they goddesses and they outright stupid. If you run across a woman who says she's a goddess, you need to run. You know what I'm saying? Because this is a foolish woman and she's clamorous and she's simple and she don't know nothing. Because I guarantee you that this bald-headed hoe did not take the time to investigate what goddesses really are, who they are, and what they did, and what was ascribed to them. See, well, the reason why you see the proliferation of witches and goddesses is because they're trying to move you to worship the mother goddess. Why are they trying to move you to worship the mother goddess? Because every single solitary religious structure on the earth is matriarchal in essence. If you sit down and you research it and you pay attention, we were talking about this the other day. Islam, Allah is not the main venerator of Islam. Go do your research. Before there was Islam, there was 360 idols for every day of the week that these people worshiped. Another instance of where you know that lines up with the script and there's 360 days in a year. That Kaaba stone that they go worship, they go kiss the Kaaba stone, and the Kaaba stone is in the shape of a vagina. Go look it up. It's a vagina. Because Allah, you have the daughters of Allah, and that's where that crescent moon comes from. Because there was the 3 statues of the daughters of Allah, which is a moon goddess, which is who, when you participate in Islam, is who you're actually venerating, is the moon goddess, or the female feminine principle. You should already know that because the moon has always been symbolic of the woman. You can see that in Genesis 37 in regards to the dream that Joseph had. It's always symbolic. It's the lesser light, the weaker vessel. It's always symbolic of the woman. So when you see that they're trying to get you, any woman who calls herself a goddess is a woman who wants you to worship her and who wants you to put her first and to venerate that feminine principle to your detriment. Yahuwah is the only Elohim on the earth that is a patriarchal system. There is not another one upon the earth, not upon deep examination. I don't care if it's Hinduism, there's a female character there. Buddhism, there's a female character there. See, niggas be so worried about Christianity. Christianity is the least of your concerns when it comes down to pagan rituals, when it comes down to pagan rites and festivals and revelries. They are the least of your concern. That's the only your concern because it's in your face. It's pagan rites going on every day unbeknownst to you. and you don't even know it. Nevertheless, when we look at, let me pull this word up for clamorous, I should say. Forgive me. I got a lot of information in my head, so bear with me. But praise be to Yahuwah for eyes to see, ears to hear, and a heart to understand, that we might be converted and be healed. So give thanks to him in the name of Yahushua for it. The word clamorous is hama. It's someone who murmurs, she growls, she mourns, she's loud, she likes to be in trouble, she likes to be in a commotion, she's boisterous, she's turbulent. So when you look at this here, a foolish woman, and when you look at a lot of these goddesses, that's what they did. What is that? That's someone who's drama out. This is a characteristic of a goddess. They stay in drama. See, let me tell you something, right? And we're going to deal with that too, Yahuwah willing, if I can get to it. See, Elohim, we talked about this a little bit. Elohim is not the author of confusion. When you look at the word is engineered to destroy chaos. Goddesses love chaos. Let me show you about one. Let me tell you about one. First and foremost, let me come over here to Leviticus chapter 20. If I'm not, is it 20? It's 17. Let me show you about an Egyptian deity who this particular precept, it was in line with what this bald-headed hoe like to do. Because if you a goddess, I don't care what goddess it is, that's how I see it, you's a bald-headed hoe. You know what I'm saying? Because we don't fool with no goddesses. Because we don't worship no women. Period. Don't do it. Won't do it. Can't do it. Do we love women? Absolutely. A virtuous woman, a godly woman, a just woman, a quiet, humble woman of Yahuwah, a woman who fears Yahuwah is a beautiful creature who ought to be cherished, nurtured, and loved on every cut and corner with every ounce of your soul, because they're more valuable than any piece of precious metal or any type of currency that could ever be crafted. That'll help me to Yahuwah, from Yahuwah to the man, and they ought to be loved and protected as such. But a goddess, that's a bald-headed hoe. And our Elohim told, hold on, before we even start that, Exodus chapter 20. Let's set the stage of what the first thing he told us when we came up out of Egypt in regards to Torah. Let's deal with it. Exodus chapter 20. Let's see who told you to do this. He said, Elohim spake all these words. I'm Yahuwah your Elohim, which have brought you out of Mizraim, out of the house of bondage. You shall have no other gods before me. Oh no. Can't have no other deity before him. No other power. Because that's all God means is power. Can't have no other powers than him. No power can come before him. Yahushua told you that in the 14th chapter of Luke. You got to hate your wife. You ain't got no business worshiping no woman. How the thing that the woman come out of you? What's wrong with your son? That's what simping really is. Simping is nothing but the veneration and worship of a woman. You know what I'm saying? You cater and you bend to that woman's every whim. That's what simping is. You know what I'm saying? That bottom line, that's what that is. You know what I'm saying? Leviticus chapter 17, right? Pick it up verse 11. I got my info for that bald-headed hoe we finna talk about on deck ready for you already. We got a lot of stuff to look at. We got a lot of bald-headed hoes to look at tonight. I told you that's what we was on for the rest of the year with these bald-headed hoes. See, we ain't got no love for no bald-headed hoe. You understand me? I don't care where that bald-headed hoe come from. And if you got a problem with it, screw you and whatever and the goddess you serve and the vagina you came out of. Because we ride with Yahuwah in these parts by way of Yahushua HaMashiach and bump who don't like it and got something to say about it. You know what I'm saying? You'll see him in due time. Make that verse 10. Leviticus 17 and 10. He says, and whatsoever man there be of the house of Yasharal, of the strangers that sojourn among you, that eat any manner of blood, I will even set my face against that soul that eat blood, and I will cut him off from among his people. For the life of the flesh is in the blood, and I've given it to you upon the altar to make atonement for your souls, for blood that make atonement for the soul. Therefore I said unto the children of Yasharal, no soul of you shall eat blood, neither shall any stranger that sojourn among you eat blood. And whatsoever man there be of the children of Yasharal, of the strangers that sojourn among you, which hunt and catch any beast or fowl that may be eaten, he shall even pour out the blood thereof and cover it with dust. For it is of the life of all flesh. The blood of it is the life thereof. Therefore I said unto the children of Yasharal, you shall eat the blood of no manner of flesh. For the life of all flesh is the blood. Therefore, whosoever eat it shall be cut off. So let me tell you why this is the case. This is the case because of an ancient Egyptian deity named Akasha. Some of y'all are familiar with the ancient deity of Akasha because you might know her by another name, Persephone. But you also might know her by another name, the Queen of the Damned. And you probably know her by the name of the Queen of the Damned because you watched that movie where Aaliyah played Akasha in your face. See, Akasha in Egyptian mythology was literally a vampire, which is why you seen Aaliyah in that movie playing a vampire. This is one of the reasons why Yahuwah tells you not to drink blood, because the Egyptians drank blood in the veneration of Akasha. Like I said, depending on the culture, she had a different name. But at the end of the day, she's the goddess of pain. Let me read you some more stuff of what this bald-headed hoe like to do. Hold on, I got the wrong thing pulled up. Let me read you something else what this bald-headed hoe like to do. Let me. She was married to a man named Enki, if you will. She was the first vampire in existence. She's known among vampires as the Great Mother or the Mother Goddess. They said she was a beautiful vampire. She was turned to stone. Her skin reflected the light of the moon. She had such beautiful skin, there was no blemish present. She had very dark, nearly black, lustrous eyes and cheeks that shone like pearls. This is how they describe this nigga. She has a high feminine voice and a serene face. She was from a place of modern-day Iraq. It says Akasha was selfish, a nihilistic person. I didn't pull that up as far as what the definition of that word is. We got to pull the definition for nihilistic. I meant to do that for a second. Someone who is a nihilist is a person that believes that life is meaningless. A person who rejects all religious and moral principles. This is a person with no code, no standard, no nothing. That's basically Isaiah 53. There is no God. I can do what I want to do. This is why I say the world lieth in wickedness. This is what this vampire did. She had no law. She did what she wanted to do. She did what she wanted to do. It also says that she lacked no compassion. Her actions were always based upon her need to feel her own inner emptiness, and she was a true monster. She also decided that she wanted to kill all men. Hold on, let me get the whole story for you. So it says she killed her dying husband by draining him of his remaining blood and then allowing him to drink nearly all of hers, making him the second vampire. They killed nobles and participated in their assassination attempt. She realizes they're now immortal with superhuman strength, but they cannot be exposed to direct sunlight and can't have intercourse and have an insatiable need to constantly drink blood and to survive. So, there was a real Count Dracula, and they say that he was the original vampire, but we can see that Bram Stoker idea of a vampire goes all the way back to ancient Egypt. So when you see all this drinking of blood and things of this nature, this is why Yahuwah told you not to do this. Because it was for this bald-headed vampire slut. You understand me? I told you she wanted to kill all men because she felt like the woman was stronger than the man. I think I done skipped over that part. I need to find that part so that y'all can hear that for yourself. Because that's the purpose of worshiping the mother goddess. See, and they push this now in this particular country in regards to feminism, which is to make a woman feel to be in competition or that she's equal with the man. To make a woman feel like that she can overtake the man and be over the man and therefore denigrate and remove basically a patriarchal society where the man is in authority as Yah has ordained. Because that's what happens when you fall into goddess worship. Like I said, the average woman, I doubt seriously that they studied what it is to be a goddess and ancient goddesses, because if they did, they would reject the term. But let's go to another bald-headed hoe goddess. Let's go to Exodus 30, 34 and 13. Let's do that. Let's go there for that. I got another word to pull out, but I'm not going to do that quite yet. I'm going to wait. That's one goddess. And then we got other things, because we were just talking about, certain characters, whether it be Superman, whether we've talked about Superman in the past, the Hulk, Iron Man, all of these niggas. And the reason why I mention this is because Stan Lee was a Jew. Say what? I guess so. I don't understand what you're stating. But Stan Lee was Jewish. So Stan Lee was involved with the Kabbalah. If you see anybody usually in the entertainment field that has a red bracelet on, I've seen LeBron James with this bracelet on. I've seen Madonna with this bracelet on. I've seen Michael Jackson with that bracelet on. That is Jewish mysticism. I studied Kabbalah when I was in prison. I studied Sufi Islam, which is the mysticism of Islam. I didn't run across any mysticism in Christianity, so I didn't have a chance to look over that. That's what he was on. That's why these characters mimic these individuals from Greek mythos, which is basically Egyptian mythology. Everything is going to be Babylonian or Kemetic. And they worship these deities in your face. So the whole time you watch X-Men, or you watch the Avengers, or you watch Incredible Hulk, or you watch Captain America, which all of us have done at some juncture, whether during the word or before it, you are watching the playing out and the veneration of a deity of another culture. You know what I'm saying? And all it is to desensitize you to that in regards that you may also venerate that deity at a particular time in your physical existence. But nevertheless, Exodus chapter 34. And the reason why 34 and 12, and the reason why it's important, make it 34 and 10. And the reason why is it important for us to notice, matter of fact, just make it 8. It's because you need to notice to protect your children. Like I said, just mentioned the other day, everybody going crazy because they got a black girl playing Little Mermaid. Oh, okay, gotcha. I got you. Oh yeah, a lot of brothers do teach that. And they only teach that because it described, because ruach is a feminine word, and Proverbs chapter 8 wisdom is referred to as a woman. So then they say the ruach is a woman, but that's just pure and outright ignorance. I appreciate you too, man. I definitely threw me off, but now that makes a lot more sense. It's autocorrect didn't help him out. 34 and 8. And Moses made haste and bowed his head toward the earth and worshiped. And he said, if now I have found grace in your sight, O Lord, let my Lord, I pray you, go among us, for it is a stiff-necked people. Pardon our iniquity and our sin, and take for us your inheritance. He said, behold, I make a covenant before all your people, and I will do marvels, such as have not been done in all the earth, nor in any nation. And all the people among which you are shall see the work of Yahuwah, for it is a terrible thing that I will do with you. Observe you that which I command you this day. Behold, I drive out before the Amorite, and the Canaanite, and the Hittite, and the Perizzite, and the Hivite, and the Jebusite. Take heed to yourself, lest you make a covenant with the inhabitants of the land, whither you go, lest it be for a snare in the midst of you. Listen what he told you. He said you need to take heed to yourself. Don't make no covenant with these people where you go, because it could be a snare. Let's look at the word for snare. So you have to be cognizant of that, because it could be a snare fooling with these people. This man done warned you and told you, but see, he already told you at the beginning of this, what we were looking at. This is stiff-necked people. We don't like to listen. See, we don't like to follow instructions. Now, when we look at snare, and of course, it's bait. I just wanted to get the word. It's mokashe. You have a meme, you have the kaf, you have the kuf, and you got the shan. So you need to be careful, because these people going to drop a bait. Oh, they say that the ruach is Gaia, the mother of the mother. Oh, we're going to talk about Gaia. The ruach ain't Gaia, but I'm glad you mentioned it, because we're going to talk about that bald-headed hoe too. You know what I'm talking about? So let's look at verse 13, I should say. But you shall destroy their altars and break their images and cut down their groves. For you shall worship no other God, for Yahuwah, whose name is jealous, is a jealous Elohim. Lest you make a covenant with the inhabitants of the land, and they go a-whoring after their gods, and do sacrifice unto their gods, and one call you, and you shall eat of his sacrifice. And you shall take of their daughters unto your sons, and their daughters go a-whoring after their gods, and make your sons go a-whoring after their gods, and you shall make you no molten gods. See, he's trying to tell you something. Don't fool with these people. Now, the groves is the word Asherah. See, this is an actual goddess. They made a pole to worship this hoe. She was a fertility goddess. Let's see some more information about this bald-headed hoe. So you got to watch out for these bald-headed hoes. That's what I'm sitting here telling you. You see a chick talking about she a goddess, you should already know what time it is. You should already know what time it is and what she on. Because 9 times out of 10, she going to be a whore. Because most of these goddesses were whores or incestuous. Some of these goddesses slept with their own sons. You already know the goddess Isis had sex with a severed penis. This whole was a necrophiliac. I mean, at the end of the day, it's all the same person. Whether it's Gaia, whether it's Isis, whether it's Persephone, whether it's Diana, it doesn't matter. It's all the same person. And it's all outright and utter wickedness. Astarte, Ashtaroth, Minerva, Nike, it's all the same. A bald-headed slut hoe. It's all the same. I thought I had this bald-headed hoe already up, but I did not. Forgive me. Matter of fact, let me see if there was some rights of Akasha, because I meant to have that, and I didn't have that. Let's see what some of the rights was for Akasha. Let's see what you were required to do. You have to say affirmations. See, that's why I ain't big on them affirmations. See, I ain't in it because that's all that chanting and all that type of stuff. And we serve you. I ain't got no business chanting. All I'm supposed to do is meditate on his word. I don't need to affirm nothing. I affirm his word by believing it and living it. I ain't got to do nothing extra. Let me see if it got anything in here with their rituals, what they supposed to do. They got to light a candle and choose beautiful music to consciously focus within, to discover what you need. Dance or rest, meditation or creatively expressing yourself through writing or painting. Follow your joy and listen to your inner wisdom. Intuitively combine the rituals in alignment with your own needs. See this one here, this is, and see now after this, see this is Hinduism, because they gonna talk about playing with your chakras. See, we don't want to deal with that one there, because see, that's when it get to another culture. We don't want to deal with that one there. See, they try to make it clean. They try to clean it up. Because you know the Hindus mess with Akasha too, and they try to clean it up, type it to your chakras. See, we ain't on that chakra junk. We don't believe in none of that crap. You know what I'm saying? Ain't got no wheels of light, nigga. Where you get that from? That's why he told you not to fool with these people. But you know, when you're dealing with Akasha, you're dealing with killing, and you're dealing with drinking blood. That's what they did. We're gonna get to the fact that it's a lot of pagan rituals that your forefathers participated in. That's right here in the text. And you can see why it's a lot of stuff that where you were in certain environments, that's why it was going down, because they were venerating these gods, whether knowingly or unknowingly. But let me pull this stuff up I had for Asherah, because I thought I had it ready. And it's not here anymore. And I didn't remove it. Now this Asherah she's a mother goddess. She's from the Akkadian writings. She's a Hittite deity. One of the people he told you not to give your children to. You know what I'm saying? And like I said, she had a little Asherah pole. And what she liked to do is she liked to get a little freaky. See, they like to do a little freaky stuff. Let's look at a little freaky. Let me just not go ahead and just cut to the chase. Let's just go ahead and look at the little freaky stuff they like to do. 1 Peter chapter 4 and verse 1. Let's just look at the little freaky stuff that these people like to do. Because it doesn't matter which goddess we look at. They all the same. Now we finna start talking about Bacchus too. I don't know if a lot of y'all are familiar with Bacchus. If y'all familiar with Bacchus, then you can go ahead and type in the chat if you're familiar with Bacchus. Let me know on here who's familiar with Bacchus. Because Bacchus is Osiris or Dionysus, all the same person. It's all the same person. Now let's look at I'm in 1 John 4:1, so that ain't gonna help nobody out. 1 Peter 4:1. Let's look at what the Lord said through Peter. He faith for as much then as a Mashal have suffered for us in the flesh, arm yourselves likewise with the same mind. For he that hath suffered in the flesh hath ceased from sin, that he should no longer live the rest of his time in the flesh to the lusts of men, but to the will of Elohim, my nigga. For the time past of our life may suffice us. Listen what he tell you. In times past, it suffice you to work the will of the Gentiles. See, let me show you something. Pause. Yahusha, chapter 24. Like I say, we ain't going to do too much gospel preaching today in the sense that we usually do. You know, you who are willing, and when we can work in a little lining them up in the text, we shall do so. But what we're dealing with tonight is the pure focus on warning you against idolatry. Period. Point blank, period. That's what we're here for today. And it still tie into the key point of a foolish woman is clamorous. Because that's all the goddesses do is trying to stir confusion. You heard when they said it. Well, I didn't read that part with Akasha. She was trying to kill men. So in her pursuit of doing this here, it caused confusion to the point that she drinking her husband's blood and he drinking her blood so you can get two vampires. So you can get two vampires. Now they feel like we got superhuman strength and immortal, can't get no sunlight. You know why this hoe can't get no sunlight? Because he already told you that. Hold on. Let me show you why Akasha can't get no sunlight before I read Joshua 24. John chapter 3. Let me show you why that bald-headed hoe can't get no sunlight. Let's see why her children can't get no sunlight. Then why this stinking hoe can't get no sunlight. And I said what I said, and I don't care who don't like it. John chapter 3, verse 18. Then why the bald-headed hoe can't get no sunlight? Because that's what it is, and you shouldn't mince no words with it. Screw a goddess, nigga. Screw any false deity, period. Screw them. Bump them. What does they mean? What power do they have? What can Akasha do to me? What can Tammuz do to me? What can they do? What can Bacchus do? I'll read you something in Psalms. I'll show you what they can do. John 3:18. He that believe on him is not condemned. He that believe not is condemned already, because he have not believed in the name of the only begotten Son of Elohim. This is the condemnation that light is coming to the world, and men love darkness rather than light because their deeds were evil. See, that's why they couldn't come in the sunlight, because her deeds are evil. Because if her deeds weren't evil, they could have came in the light. Elohim is light. And if they don't speak according to the law and to the testimony, ain't no light in them. So, of course, this hoe ain't going to come into the light. Use your brain. These made up people, it ain't real. Psalms 116, I believe. It might be Psalms 118. Let me make sure. My shoulder a little creaky. Doing them power snatches, I think I did them wrong. I ain't used to doing power snatches. And it shows. No, is it Psalms 116? Psalms 116. Ain't well moving. See, some people might get offended because a lot of brews out here simps. A lot of brews simps because they don't want to displease women. Oh, yeah, Semiramis. Absolutely. Ain't but one true Elohim. That's it. All the rest of them is the machinations of simple-minded people's minds. I said it. But what I'm saying is a lot of dudes is simps. Because instead of standing on the truth of Yahuwah, they don't want to offend a woman. They don't want to be called misogynistic. They don't want to be called oppressive. He oppresses women. He hates women. Man, you better let your nuts hang, my nigga. That's what you ought to do. You a man, ain't him? That's how Yahuwah made you, ain't him? Stand like one and live like one. You can't be around here kowtowing to the appeasing of wicked women. That's foolish. Psalms 115:1. That's foolish. That's foolish. You can't do that. Ain't no real woman gonna respect that anyway. If she a godly woman, she gonna love you for it. You stand up and be a man. You stand for the word of Yahuwah. She gonna love you for it. You know what I'm saying? You can't be around here kowtowing to please no woman. Not a wicked woman. Is you serious, nigga? You serious? A wicked woman? Come on, man. Psalms 115:1. Not unto us, O Yahuwah, not unto us. Not unto us, O Yahuwah, not unto us. But unto your name give esteem. Amen. For your mercy and for your truth's sake. Wherefore should the heathen say, where is now their Elohim? But our Elohim is in Shamahim. He have done whatsoever he pleased. True story. Their idols are silver and gold, the work of men's hands. They have mouths, but they speak not. Eyes they have, but they see not. They have ears, but they hear not. Noses have they, but they smell not. They have hands, but they handle not. Feet have they, but they walk not. Neither speak they through their throat. They that make them alike unto them, so is everyone that trusts in them. Oh, Yasharal trust in Yahuwah. He is their help and their shield. Every single nigga that scream they a goddess, worship a goddess, run with a goddess, nigga, you just like ain't no life in you, nigga. Nigga, we don't care nothing about what you talking about. You know what I'm saying? Our trust and our hope is in Yahuwah. Absolutely, Semiramis is one. Absolutely. And at the end of the day, Semiramis it's going to be, it's the same deity every time. Yahusha chapter 24, right? 24 and 14. You know what I mean? I roll with Yahuwah, man. Period. Point blank. But I don't care what none of these niggas out here talking about. You know what I'm saying? I see straight through that jump, man. I ain't with it. I ain't on that. You know what I'm talking about? He said, little children, keep yourselves from idols. You better watch them. Because that's what a lot of these women out here, they want to be worshipped. You know what I'm saying? They want you to bow down to them. Worship is veneration and bow. They want you to worship them. Not worshiping no woman, my nigga. For what? For what? Give me a reason, an explanation. Give me one logical reason why a woman is due worship. They stupid nigga, the black woman is God. You cornball nigga. You's a sucker and a lame. You know what I'm talking about? Black woman ain't no God. What power does she possess? If you say her vagina is power, you just a weak-willed man. Should no vagina overpower you, nigga? If you say you a God, you a mighty one. What mighty woman is it on the earth? Solomon said he gave account. Ain't fine man. Nigga, you got to be stupid. You know what I'm talking about? That's no disrespect to women, as I said. Say, you know, favor is deceitful, beauty is vain, but a woman who fears Yahuwah, she shall be praised, and rightfully so. And rightfully so. He told Mary, you blessed amongst all women. You know what I'm talking about? See, our women want to be venerated and acknowledged for the wrong thing. That's what black people problem is, period. You're always worried about the wrong things. You worry about the wrong things. The wrong things. You know what I'm saying? I just seen a video earlier. The shacking up notwithstanding. Video was about why good men don't marry girlfriends. Because woman was like, you know, these are wife duties. I'll do this and I'll do that if you marry me. And it ain't even about that. It's about if that's who you are and that's what you do, then that man gonna see the wife in you. And if that's who he is and that's what he do, then she gonna see the husband in you. If you gotta do it because you have to, then that's not who you are. I told you a lot of people have their self-worth is overinflated by the delusions of their own mind. You know what I'm saying? He said every man proclaim his own goodness, but a faithful man who can find? Anybody can say I'm a good man. Any woman can say I'm a good wife. I'm wife material. But you said that though. He said let another man praise you and not your own lips. Because a lot of people do stuff out of requirement and not out of the love and joy out of their heart because that's who they are and that's what they do. You know what I'm saying? And it's going to show if that's who you are and what you do. It's not forced. You don't do it begrudgingly. Do you know what I'm saying? Nevertheless, he said, now therefore fear Yahuwah and serve him in sincerity and in truth. And that's time for sincerity and perfection. Put away the gods which your father served on the other side of the flood in Mizraim and serve Yahuwah. That's why I mentioned the Kasha in the first place. That's one of the gods your father served on the other side of that flood. You understand? That's why when he sit back and he tell you about being renewed when you get baptized, Paul, let's go on and look at it. Let me go ahead and work that in here right now. Matter of fact, let me get Mark 16. We gonna hold, what was that? Yahusha, son of Nun, chapter 24. Come over here to Mark 16. We're gonna grab this Mark 16, right? We're gonna pick it up about verse 14, right? Then we're gonna go to Romans chapter 6, right? And then we're gonna go to Hebrew chapter 6. We're gonna pick Romans 6 right up at verse 1. We're going to pick Hebrew chapter 6, probably right about verse 4. Let's say, just bear with me, man. I'm trying to fit a lot of stuff in, Paul. So y'all willing, if I don't get it tonight, I get it tomorrow. He said, afterwards he appeared unto the 11 as they sat at meat and upbraided them with their unbelief and their hardness of heart, because they believed not them which had seen him after he was risen. And he said unto them, go ye into all the world and preach the Basar to every creature. He that believe and is immersed shall be saved, but he that believe not shall be damned. So if you believe and you're immersed in the name of Yahushua HaMashiach, you'll be delivered. But let's look what he said, what occurs at this immersion. See, I need the point to be hammered home, because you can't play with that there, right? You know, I done told people, man, if it was up to me personally, I wouldn't immerse people willy-nilly. But it's not up to me. You know what I mean? Because I can't preclude you from that if you ask for it. All I can ask you is, do you believe that Yahushua is the son of Elohim? It's not my place to say if you believe or not. I don't have that power. I don't have that right. I don't have that authority. But if you get baptized, that's a whole nother thing, man. Because now you done entered into the covenant. That's a whole nother conversation. It's a whole nother conversation. That's not a conversation to be taken. That's not something to enter into lightly. That's not something to do haphazardly. Because now you're at a different level of responsibility. Very well then. Romans 6:1. What shall we say then? Shall we continue in sin that grace may abound? We still got 1 Peter chapter 4:2. Bear with me. Elohim forbid. How shall we that are dead to sin live any longer therein? When you get immersed, you dead to sin. He said, know you not that so many of us as were immersed into Yahushua HaMashiach were immersed into his death? Therefore we are buried with him by immersion into death, that like as HaMashiach was raised up from the dead by the esteem of Abba, even so we should also walk in newness of life. For if we have been planted together in the likeness of his death, we shall all be also in the likeness of his resurrection. Knowing that our old man is crucified with him, that the body of sin might be destroyed, that we henceforth should not serve sin. For he that is dead is freed from sin. So in essence, when you get immersed, and we done went over this numerous times in the past, you dead to sin. You say that body of sin is no longer present. You can't come up out that water and ready to go sin again. Because at that particular juncture, you didn't die to sin and that body wasn't destroyed. See, hold on. Drop down to verse 9, right? He said, knowing that a Mashiach being raised from the dead die no more, death have no more dominion over him. For in that he died unto sin once. But that he live under Elohim. Likewise, reckon you also yourselves to be dead indeed unto sin, but alive unto Elohim through Yahushua HaMashiach our Lord. Let not sin therefore reign in your mortal body, that you should obey it in the lust thereof. Now, come on, man. That man said he died unto sin one time. Now, why did I read that? Hebrews chapter 6. Because you don't read nowhere in the New Testament of people getting baptized over and over again. Now, I've been told that that's a custom among some. But let's see what the text say about that. Hebrews 6:4. He say, for it is impossible for those who were once enlightened and have tasted of the gift of Shamahin and were made partakers of the Ruach HaKodesh and have tasted the good word of Elohim and the powers of the world to come. If they shall fall away, to renew them again unto repentance, seeing they crucify to themselves the son of Elohim afresh and put him to an open shame. Now, remember, Yahushua was put to an open shame when he was crucified up there on that stake. And you mean to tell me you went up there and killed him again? You went and killed him again? Because he didn't die 2 times. He didn't die 3 times. He didn't die 4 times. That's why it don't make sense to get immersed if you know that you're not going to do what you're professing to say you're going to do. Because at that point, you're entering into the covenant. It don't make sense to agree to a contract that you know you have no desire to uphold the terms of said agreement. Look what the next thing he says. He said, for the earth which drink in the rain that come oft upon it and bring forth herbs meet for them by whom it is dressed, receive blessing from Elohim. But that which bear thorns and briars is rejected and nigh unto cursing, whose end is to be burned. But beloved, we are persuaded better things of you, and the things that accompany salvation, though we thus speak. See, there ain't no need for that. See, let's go and get Hebrew 10 over here. See, when you do stuff like that, that gets yourself cut off. So I'm only reading this for a warning. Take with it for what you will. It's just an admonition. That's it, because that's all admonition means, is warning. Hebrew 10:26. He said, for if we sin willfully after that we have received the knowledge of the truth, there remain no more sacrifice for sins. Because remember, that immersion is showing forth the sacrifice of sin, which was Yahushua. When you receive the knowledge of the truth, that would mean you should have heard the gospel before you were immersed. He said, but a certain fearful looking for of judgment and fiery indignation, which shall devour the adversaries. He that despised Moses' Torah died without mercy under 2 or 3 witnesses. Of how much sore punishment suppose you shall he be thought worthy, who have trodden under the foot of the son of Elohim, and have counted the blood of the covenant wherewith he was sanctified an unkadash thing, and have done despite unto the ruach of grace. So that's where you have to consider your behavior and your conduct, because you know the covenant. So you're not owed that mercy is the point. You're not owed that. So don't walk around thinking that you're owed that. Because once you entered into the covenant, you knew the terms and conditions of the agreement. That man don't owe you nothing. He can be merciful because he is merciful, but he doesn't owe you that. And you can't walk around moving like he owes you that, because he does not. He does not owe you that. You need to make sure that you understand that. Yahushua, son of Nun, chapter 24. He don't owe you that. Remember all them other gods you were serving on the other side of the flood? He said that leave that over there. We ain't even got off into Isis and Osiris Tuta or Amun-Ra or Ptah. And Ptah ain't nobody but Pan. Y'all know about Pan. Nigga, you niggas stop fooling with R. Kelly because of a documentary. I stopped fooling with that nigga when he called himself the Pied Piper of R&B, because I knew exactly who he was talking about, because I was familiar with the information. I knew he was talking about Pan. I knew Pan was the goat god. I knew Pan liked to molest little boys. I said, I ain't fooling with this nigga. This nigga's evil. We were talking about this last night. Y'all remember that Dave Chappelle skit when he was playing Pan? Talking about doop, 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 doop. This nigga was playing Pan. And you niggas thinking he ran off on the 50 mil because he ain't want. That nigga ain't do nothing. That nigga under mind control like the rest of them. That nigga was on Star Search where they molest and touch little children. When that nigga was playing Pan, he told you who he served. And guess what? That nigga went right back, and Netflix gave him a whole gang of money. Because them niggas ain't going nowhere. They love what Pan can do for them. You done seen Pan everywhere. E.T., Peter Pan. Nigga, that's the Baphomet. Nigga, that's the goat god. The goat of Mendes. You don't even want to deal with Mephistopheles. That's a whole nother conversation. Nigga, I had a book in prison by Manly P. Hall, The Secret of All Ages, and boy, they had a picture of Mephistopheles. Boy, I gave that book back to that nigga. I said, bro, I don't know what this is, man. I don't even want to read the rest of this here no more, man. You know what I'm saying? I said, I know I ain't got no reason to read this here, man. I said, well, the whole time I was up the road, I kept seeing that book. Because Manly P. Hall was a 33rd degree Freemason. I said, man, I want to see what this book about, man. I was at Jefferson CI, man. I was a dude named Ali. He had the book. I finally run across it. I gave that nigga back that book the same day. I said I might have not been serving Yahuwah at that particular juncture, but I said I knew this here, boy. You ain't got no business reading it here. This just ain't right. That picture, I can see that picture of Mephistopheles now, boy. I said, boy, take this jump back. I said, boy, take this jump back. Had another book on the Rosicrucians. I said, well, you take this back. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to do this here, man. This is some weird stuff. I don't even want this junk to jump up off me from this book onto me, man. You take this back. You know what I'm saying? I told somebody that a long time ago, well, you better make sure your spirit's strong before you go to reading that type of stuff, man, about reading about other deities you've been done started following them. You better make sure you grounded and rooted in the faith, man. You know what I'm saying? I did all that research before I was in the word. I ain't know nothing. I was a good hardcore sinner. You understand? Strong unbeliever. I ain't know nothing about nothing. But I did it out of ignorance. I ain't know nothing about it. You know what I'm saying? It ain't like I did it and knew. That's just different if you do it and know. I ain't know nothing. You know what I'm saying? And it showed. Yes, I am. I am familiar with Serapis. I am familiar with him. Indeed. It definitely is, Marquise. It's definitely a lot of false deities in the world. And they wasn't nothing but people and who people wrote exaggerated stories about. And then it became mythos, and a man turned into a god, and people began to worship him. That's all. Yahushua chapter 24, man. Verse 14 again. He said, now therefore fear Yahuwah and serve him in perfection, or tam, completeness, integrity, honesty, uprightness, and in truth. Put away the gods which your father served on the other side of the flood in Mizraim, and serve you Yahuwah. And if it seem evil unto you to serve Yahuwah, choose this day whom you will serve, whether the gods your father served that were on the other side of the flood, or the God of the Amorites, is who land you dwell. But as for me and my house, we will serve Yahuwah. See, that's the thing you have to look at. See, a lot of people say, me and my house will serve Yahuwah. But he sitting back talking about these people will serve an idol God. Remember we talked about this? Get to Exodus 23, man. Just bear with me, man. See, this is the key thing. Remember, the knowledge of the Kadash is understanding. You understand? So what is the knowledge of the Kadash? It's Da'af. So when you're dealing with that, right, the knowledge of my righteous servant will justify many. Yahushua say, come learn of me. Search the scriptures, for in them you think you have eternal life, and they are they which testify of me. Remember when Yahushua resurrected from the dead, he opened up the scriptures and gave them understanding that they might understand the scriptures. He is the Kadash. That's where we was at. Praise the Lamb. Pause. Before I read this, Exodus 23, Psalm 16. That would have was. Yahuwah right on time. He bring it back to mind. I thank y'all name of Yahushua for it. Psalm 16. I started at verse 2, verse 1. That's what it was. And I can still run down where we started at, and we get the whole collection. Praise the Lamb. You know what I mean? I was telling, man, look here, right? I seen myself last night when we were talking about this here, man, in the cell in 2005 reading the book of Job. Not reading it because I'm locked up, because, if I read the Bible, I'm going to get out. They're going to cut my time. I'm like, I read, I was like, you know what I mean? And I'm like, I have no idea what this book is talking about in the least bit. And praise be to Yah, name of Yahushua 14 years later. I understand this book very, very plainly. This book is very, very simple. The book has to be simple because you have to be able to impart this to a child. It can't be something of a complex nature that a child cannot receive. That's why it's the simplicity of Mashiach. See, and I got a lot of stuff in my head, man. See, we already supposed to have laid this out on Wednesday, but it wasn't Yahuwah's will. But you'll get it now, though. Psalm 16:1. Preserve me, O Elohim, for in you do I put my trust. True story. O my soul, you have said unto Yahuwah, you art my Lord. My goodness extend not to you. This is what he said. But to the saints that are in the earth, and to the excellent in whom is all my delight. He said, their sorrow shall be multiplied that hasten after another God. Their drink offerings of blood will I not offer. Taking you back to that whole of Akasha. See, we're not doing no drink offerings of blood. We don't do that. That's what the vampires do. We don't do that. He said, and I will not take their name into my lips. Come over here to Exodus 23. He said, I ain't going to take their name into my lips. Exodus 23 and 13. I still got 1 Peter chapter 4. Bear with me. I hate a lot of things on the earth. Idols is one of them. I can't stand them. They make me sick. You understand? That's how I see it. I don't care who don't like it. If you're Yahuwah, you feel the same way. Exodus chapter 23, right? About verse 13. He says, and in all things that I've said unto you, be circumspect. Make no mention of the name of other gods, neither let it be heard out of your mouth. Now, he told you to make no mention of other gods. Come over here to Deuteronomy 4. Deuteronomy 4 and 9. We just hit Deuteronomy 4 the other day. I'm going to read it again. Deuteronomy 4 and 9. Did I want Deuteronomy 4 and 9? I don't think I want Deuteronomy 4 and 9. I want Deuteronomy 4 and 15. Deuteronomy 4 and 15. You know, Marquise, man, these false deities, they stories be all the same, you feel me? So that junk be running together. So many different names for the same person, or for the same act, I should say. He said, take you therefore good heed unto yourselves, for you saw no manner of similitude in the day that Yahuwah spake unto you in Horeb out of the midst of the fire. Lest you corrupt yourselves and make you a graven image, the similitude of any figure, the likeness of male or female, the likeness of any beast that is on the earth, the likeness of any winged fowl that fly in the air, the likeness of anything that creep on the ground, the likeness of any fish that is in the waters beneath the earth. Unless you lift up your eyes in the Shamahim when you see the sun, the moon, and the stars, even all the hosts of Shamahim, and should be driven to worship them and serve them, which you, O Elohim, have divided unto all nations under the whole Shamahim. But Yahuwah have taken you and brought you forth out of the iron furnace, eaten out of Mizraim, to be unto him a people of inheritance as you are this day. So he told you ain't got no business. He dropped down about verse 23, man. I'll read all that, John, man. I don't make no deal. You need to hear it anyway. Take heed to yourselves, lest you forget the covenant of Yahuwah your Elohim, which he made with you, and make you a graven image or the likeness of anything which Yahuwah have forbidden you. For Yahuwah your Elohim is a consuming fire and a jealous Elohim. And when you shall beget children and children's children, and you shall have remained long in the land, and shall corrupt yourselves and make a graven image, or the likeness of anything, and shall do evil in the sight of Yahuwah your Elohim to provoke him to anger, I call Shamahim and the rats to witness against you this day, that you shall soon utterly perish from off the land, whereunto you go over Jordan to possess it. And you shall not prolong your days upon it, but you shall be utterly destroyed. Notice that it said the knowledge of Kadash and the fear, which is understanding, and the fear of Yahuwah, which is the beginning of wisdom, will cause your days to be multiplied. See, if you feared Yahuwah, then you would have no other God. Then you would have got the knowledge of the Kadash, and you would have had the insight, and you would have been able to receive the Ruach HaKadash, and your days would be multiplied. Nevertheless, verse 28, he said, there shall you, what he telling you about this? Because it's not even about serving the gods of wood and stone that can't see or hear or smell. It ain't even about that. Because it's about the things that are created for the veneration. See, that's what most groups, see, the wood is the Christianity with the cross. And the stone, that's Islam. Man, look here, right? I got to pull some more information for it to have it right in front of me and not recall it off the top of my head. But you'll be shocked what them infinity stones was really representing. You know what I'm saying? And it ain't representing nothing good. But let me tell you something, man, to reiterate what was in Exodus 23 and 13. And we just talked about this not too long ago of what this word meant. Now, he told you to be circumspect, which is to hear with the listen with the intent to obey. And that's the cars for make no mention, which means to remember. That you should make no mention or not. You need to listen to Yahuwah and obey. Do not remember the name of other gods. And when it say neither let it be heard, it's Shema, which is to listen. Do not obey and serve other gods. This is what he's telling you. That's why I say I won't make no mention. I will not remember another God. You know what I'm saying? What we living at and we seeing in these days and times, they remembering other gods. That's why these hoes want to be goddesses. That's why these simp niggas is telling you the black woman is God, because all they doing is turning around with the goddess worship of ancient time. That's all. Come on back to Psalm 16. Don't make we trust in Yahuwah. So what I care about a goddess for? What could a goddess do? What can a false deity do? They ain't got no ear. This nigga can't hear. And when you take that into account with a person who called themselves a goddess, she has no ears to hear, nor eyes to see, nor heart to understand that she might be converted and be healed. Same difference. She ain't no death. He said everybody who trusts in an idol is like unto him. See, you can't say you love Yahuwah and be a goddess at the same time. That's oxymoronic. That's diametrically opposed to everything he is. Because at that point, when you say you a goddess, you equal to Yahuwah. No, ma'am. No, ma'am. The text only say you can be the equal to Yahuwah in one way. It says that he said, let the mind of Yahushua HaMashiach be in you, who didn't think it robbery to make himself equal with Elohim. And he sought no reputation and humbled himself in the fashion of a servant, even to the death of the state. That's the only way you're going to be equal to Elohim. You smoking good crack if you think you're going to equal to Elohim because you got a vagina between your legs. You's a silly hoe. You know what I'm talking about? You ain't got good sense. You ain't got sense y'all gave you. Psalm 16 and 4. And I said what I said. I don't care who don't like it. You know what I'm talking about? We roll with Yahuwah around these parts exactly how he said to roll with him. Not how you want to roll with him, not with the delusion in your mind. We roll with Yahuwah, man. Bump with air nigga talking about who don't like it. You don't roll with Yahuwah, screw you. You know what I'm talking? You got a problem with Yahuwah, screw you. That's how we feel about it. Because that's how he feel about anybody who didn't mess with us. When you obedient. That's how I see it. Do I wish any harm on you? Absolutely not. Yet Yahuwah render judgment as he see fit. Prayerfully, his judgment sees fit to cause you to repent and acknowledge him as the true and living Elohim. But if it does not, let his will be accomplished and let his wrath be swift. Period. You know what I'm talking about? That's the only way I see it. I only see his wrath being swift, but in your pride and your arrogance, you refuse to acknowledge him. You refuse to humble yourself under his mighty hand. Therefore, let his wrath be swift. And that goes for anybody, myself included. You want to turn from Yahuwah? You want to in your pride denounce him, disrespect him, and dishonor him, and not give the worship that is due to his mighty and Kadash's name? His wrath needs to fall upon a man's head speedily. Just because we say his wrath falling on his head don't mean we talking about somebody being killed. I ain't really worrying about that Jesus thing, because that's straining at a gnat and swallowing a camel. That's a wasted conversation. You know what I mean? Because it's all going to be from the perception of the individual you're talking to. I don't call him Jesus. I call him what his name is. If somebody else do, I'm not going to waste no time. Oh, that's a false deed. I ain't have time for that. You know what I'm saying? I ain't no time for that. You know what I'm saying? It's a vain conversation. You know what I'm talking about? But you turn from Yahuwah, man. Maybe his wrath falling on your head. Maybe as he did to Manasseh, and it caused you to repent. Or maybe as he did to King Amaziah, and it's to kill you. But either way, let his will be accomplished upon all the proud. I see that. Period. End of story. So nevertheless, Psalm 16:4. The sorrow shall be multiplied that hasten after another God. I want y'all to keep in mind about that, how your sorrows will be multiplied, that are quick to go serve another God. The drink offerings of blood will I not offer, nor take up their names into my lips. Yahuwah is the portion of my inheritance, and of my cup you maintain my lot. You better know it. The lines are falling under me in a pleasant place. Yea, I have a goodly heritage. I got a good inheritance. You understand? We got inheritance in heaven. See, Paul. See, Peter, I ain't going to grab it right quick, but 1 Peter chapter 2, man. Peter said you got an inheritance in Shamahim, undefiled, uncorruptible. Come on, man. Come on, man. Semiramis can't give you that. Tammuz can't give you that. Akasha can't give you that. Gaia can't give you that. Allah can't give you that. Shiva can't give you that. Buddha can't give you that. Like this here, nigga, why would a nigga even want to serve a nigga named Buddha who butt naked with drawers on this nigga name is Buddha? This nigga name sounds like a butt. Who want to serve this nigga? Nigga got a butt naked nigga in their house. That's why I won't wear True Religion jeans, man. This nigga got Buddha on. I'm not walking around with this nigga on my body. That's why nigga don't wear Nike. Nigga wore Nike, man. Best sneakers hands down. I'm not walking with no Goddess of Victory name on me, man. You know what I'm saying? Period. Because I'm not repping her. Like this is nigga real name. There's a temple of Nike still on the earth. It's still erect, it's still present. Pause. It's still there. 16:7. He said, I will bless you who will have given me counsel. My reins also instruct me in the night seasons. Shalom, bro. You know what I mean? Like, that's when Yahushua was, at night, you know what I mean? Before he got ready to die. Shoot, buy any shoes you want. You want to wear Reeboks, Adidas? I mean, we just don't do Nike. I'm not walking around with that whole name on me. Let me read y'all a little bit about Nike since the brother said that. We've been stopped wearing that hoe. I can't do it. I know somebody be like, it ain't a big deal, Illuminati everywhere. I didn't say nothing about Illuminati. We dealing with, this is a real goddess that really was worshipped. That's what the swoosh symbolizes. It symbolizes her wings because she's the goddess of victory. Nike was the goddess of victory in Greek mythology, having wings. She was also known as the wing goddess. She was the daughter of the Titan Pallas and the goddess Styx, sister of Kratos, who was the goddess of power, Bia, who was the goddess of force, Zealous, who was the goddess of zeal. The four siblings were the companions of Zeus, and she had the role of the divine charioteer, flying above battlefields and giving glory to victors. So basically what Nike was is Nike gave esteem to mighty men in battle. This is what she did. She's almost, she could be akin to the god Mars. This is why they named Mars, because Mars is the god of war. And he has many other names, just like Jupiter is Zeus. Depending, like I say, depending on what, and Zeus ain't nobody but Osiris. And I'm telling you, they play this stuff out in every television show and movie that you see. And they try to sprinkle in pieces of Mashiach to make him a Mashiach archetype so that when the beast come, that you will serve him. Because you would have already been desensitized and programmed to that case to serve this man. Remember, man, the law tell you that the serpent was more subtle than any beast of the field. Subtle just meaning shrewd and crafty. He has skill. This is one of the reasons why Mashiach told you to be wise as serpent, as harmless as doves. So that means you need to educate yourself in order to see the craft. You got to educate yourself on game to peep game. You can't peep game if don't nobody teach you the game. How is you going to know it? And they know you don't know the game. That's why they put it in your face in the fashion that they do. Because they know that you're not going to be able to see that they're running game on you. 16 and 8. He said, I've set Yahuwah always before me, because he's at my right hand, I shall not be moved. Therefore my heart is glad and my esteem rejoice. My flesh also rest in hope. For you will not leave my soul in hell, neither will you suffer your Kadash one to see corruption. We know that Yahushua is the set apart one. Remember, the knowledge of the Kadash. The knowledge of the Kadash is understanding. If you don't have knowledge of the Kadash one, you ain't going to have no understanding. And when you don't have no understanding, then you're not going to realize that the world is fallen in evil. Yeah, NyQuil very well may be attached to the goddess of night, Nyx. Absolutely. Absolutely. Let's look at the goddess of night, Nyx, Kira. I remember, because some of this stuff we didn't talk about in the past at various times, just to make you aware of different. And these people came up with so many different goddesses that it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. Just like a chronograph watch is for the Greek god Chronos. Well, Chronos ain't nothing but the Roman god Janus. Janus is who they venerate on New Year's, the god of endings and beginnings, two-faced god. Now, Nyx was the goddess of the night. She was a primordial god who emerged as the dawn of creation. She was a child of chaos. Chaos was the god of the air, coupling with Erebus, who was the god of darkness, and they produced Ether, which is the god of light, and Hermura, the god of day, her opposite number. And all this junk come down to one thing, that they don't want to give esteem to Yahuwah. That they want to take, see, let me show you something, hold on. Is that Isaiah 42? Let me see that. That's Isaiah 42, man. Come over here to Isaiah 42. See, this is what they want to do right here, man. Isaiah 42. This is what these bastards be want to do, man. Isaiah 42 and 5. What church? Are you talking about the Roman church? Now, the Roman church in and of itself is not a false goddess. The Roman church is a place of goddess worship without question. They definitely worship Isis to the utmost. I want you to also look up the goddess Hathor, because it was talking about this yesterday too. When you remember when Lil Kim came out with that little titty out, Cardi B came out with that little left titty out, they were showing you that they were venerations of the goddess Hathor. Oh, you talking about circa? Not that, I mean, the word church is derived from that, but again, that's individuals want to deal with. You shouldn't say church. That's a goddess. That's, you know what I'm saying? Oh yeah, Starbucks is definitely pagan. We didn't talk about that before. You ain't got no. I wouldn't even slide to Starbucks, because now you got this idol god in your hand, sipping your little latte, your frappuccino. Nigga, that's ISIS on your cup. That's right in your face. These people are blatant. They don't care. You know what I'm saying? Why should they care? They in their land. Worshiping, this is not the land of Yahuwah. That's why I be shocked that niggas is offended that these people serving what you thought they were going to do. When you was in your land, them people still were serving their gods while you was there. They didn't care nothing about you being there. We serve our God. We got nothing to do with that. I don't believe in none of that. Remember what that man told him in Acts? He said, man, they teaching things that's not lawful for us to observe, us being Romans. Man, we not on that. That's y'all stuff. Y'all keep that over there. We ain't not. No, we don't do that. We don't do that here. He said, thus saith Elohim Yahuwah. This is Isaiah 42 and 5. He that stretched Shamahim and stretched them out. He that spread forth their rats and that which come out of it. He gave breath unto the people upon it, and the ruach to them that walk therein. Hallelujah for Yahushua. Let that be known. I created the heavens. I created I being Yahuwah and the earth and the man that's upon it. And I put that breath of life in them too. I, Yahuwah, have called you in righteousness and will hold your hand and will keep you and give you for a covenant of the people, for a light to the Gentiles, to open the blind eyes and to bring out the prisoners from the prison, and them that sit in darkness out of the prison house. I am Yahuwah, that is my name. My esteem will I not give to another, neither my praise to graven images. And see, that's what they end up wanting to do. They want his esteem, and they want him to abdicate that to another person. Now, we done talked about this before. All of y'all done been on a job or in school, and you performed a particular task, and you ain't with nobody else getting the credit for the work that you did. So why should Yahuwah give credit to Nix for creating a night and chaos for the air? Why should he give them credit for that when he know they ain't had nothing to do with it? These people see, let me show you something. Romans chapter 1. See, this is what these people done. See, this is what these people done. We still got what? I'm good at Exodus 23. I still got Exodus 34 to go through in more detail. Well, actually, 1 Peter 4, because 1 Peter 4 is the springboard. What was I going to get out of it? God. What I just said. Do you recall what I just said, man? You don't. Oh, Romans chapter 1. Praise you. Name of Yahweh. Praise you. That's where I was going. Romans chapter 1, right? We just read this the other day, but we're going to read it again. It can be, but it also means idolatry as well. It also means idolatry as well. A lot of brothers read that. They don't read the complete definition of the word. It also, because we done went over that before. It also pertains to, pharmakia also pertains to idolatry. Romans 1 and 18. He said, for the wrath of Elohim is revealed from heaven against all ungodliness and unrighteousness of men, who hold the truth in unrighteousness. Because that which may be known of Elohim is manifest in them, for Elohim showed it unto them. For the invisible things of him from the creation of the world are clearly seen, being understood by the things that are made, even his eternal power and Godhead, so that they are without excuse. Because that when they knew Elohim, they esteemed him not as Elohim, neither were thankful, but became vain in their imaginations, and their foolish heart was darkened. Professing themselves to be wise, they became fools, and changed the esteem of the uncorruptible Elohim into an image made like the corruptible man, and to birds and the four-footed beasts and creeping things. Because remember, they did make images to every goddess and every god that we done mentioned. They made images to them to bow down and worship them. Because remember, that's why I mentioned that in Deuteronomy 4. You didn't see no similitude in that fire, lest you be a fool and go make you one. But these people are always continually trying to make an image. And they've taken the things of creation and made them gods and worship that instead. That's the foolishness of man. He told you, lest you be driven to worship the host of heaven and the sun and the moon and the stars, which I've divided as an inheritance for everybody under heaven. And guess what people out here doing? Because Wicca is a big religion in this country. It's a lot of women who becoming witches. You know what I'm saying? Messing with voodoo and all that witchcraft, man. They like, that's our culture. And then that's your culture then, my nigga. You're absolutely right. Your culture is of your father, the devil. So continue to participate in your culture. Who am I to restrain you? Continue on and be joyful and happy and voiceful and boisterous in your wickedness. You know what I'm saying? May you be increased. Nevertheless, 1 Peter chapter 4 again. Let's go ahead and show you how nasty your ancestors was and what they was out there doing. Hold on, y'all. Yeah. All right. It's blown. Oh, okay. You got the key with you? Okay. No. No, you good. Uh-huh. Gotcha. All right, appreciate it. Yeah. So, 1 Peter chapter 4. Right, 1 Peter 4. He say, for as much then as a Mashal have suffered for us in the flesh, arm yourselves likewise with the same mind. For he that suffered in the flesh hath ceased from sin, that he should no longer live the rest of his time in the flesh to the lust of men, but to the will of Elohim. That's why we went over there to Yahushua, son of Nun, chapter 24. Yeah, talking to spirits is divination. Shoot, what you talking to spirits for? But we'll read that in the law in a minute. You got no business doing that. Well, that's necromancy. That's not divination. That's necromancy. He said, for the time past of our life may suffice us to wrought the will of the Gentiles. When we walked in lasciviousness, lust, excess of wine, revilings, banquetings, and abominable idolatries, wherein they think it is strange that you run not with them to the same excess of riot, speaking evil of you. So let me pull up the word here for riot. That Greek word is a sota. It's a prodigality, a dissolute life, profligacy. You know, it's a little excess. You like to do a little much. You like to do a lot. But let's come over here to reviling. Let's come over here to reviling. Because reviling is why we're really here. Let's look at revelings, I should say, and not revilings. A little revelry. You've heard the word revelry before. But that Greek word is kosmos. And it's a revel or carousal. But it's a nocturnal, which is at night, and riotous procession of half-drunken, frolicsome fellows who, after a supper parade through the streets with torches and music in honor of Bacchus or some other deity, sing and play before houses of male and female friends, hence used generally of feasts and drinking parties that are protracted till late at night and indulge in revelry. Well, let's read about Bacchus, because I don't know if some of you are familiar with Bacchus. But what he basically telling you what go on with Bacchus is orgies. Orgies. This is what he's telling you when you wrote. This is what the Gentiles did. If you don't know about Bacchus, look him up for yourself. That's what the niggas did. They got booty naked and had freaky nights. That's what they like to do. He's also known as Dionysus. He is the god of wine and ecstasy. Well, you know what ecstasy is equated to. Why do you think they came out with a drug called an ecstasy? The club, because that's all the club is a house of Bacchus. And then when we mentioned Asherah with the pole, well, guess what? That's why they got the stripper pole. I remember I seen this bald-headed hoe some years back. She talking about the gospel from the stripper pole. And what you do in the strip club, it's a place of ecstasy and drunkenness. While you watch the mother goddess slide up and down the pole and you worship her for her body parts. This is right here, right? Listen to this. Bacchus was the Greco-Roman god associated with mental and physical duality. His mythology began in Greece under the name Dionysus, a foreign god joining an already existing civilization. Dionysus and Bacchus are comparable deities, but they would just use Bacchus. Bacchanalia is a procession of satyrs and overly drunken women led to the king's disapproval of Bacchus' religion, eventually resulting in the death of Saracen king. Therefore, this particular myth is vastly different from the stories of Jesus. There are similar visual themes the Christians expertly borrowed in their symbolic portrayal of Jesus to aid the Romans in accepting the new religion. Because see, this is what they like to do. They like, because there's a lot of people tell you that Bacchus and Yahushua are the same story, and it's not. Because Yahushua is not the god of wine and ecstasy. Niggas wasn't getting hit in the butt at a party that Yahushua was a part of. See, what you have to understand with all these pagan deities is that it's one thing that they desire. Come over here to 1 Thessalonians chapter 4. See, this is what you got to do. See, you can't do this with Yahuwah. And I'm going to get to it too. I'm going to show you something in the law. Because your forefathers were worshiping Bacchus too. They were around there playing. Y'all know what I'm talking about too. So you know what they was out there doing. 1 Thessalonians chapter 4, right? Pick it up about verse 4. We make it verse 1. Just make it verse 1. You got to understand what's going on. We probably deal with some of them characters. Y'all will on tomorrow. There's so many gods to cover. It might spill over. It ain't going to hurt nothing. Because I don't think this stuff is talked about as forth as the practicing and the rites and the things that go along with the service. So you know the difference between the service of a fake deity and the service of the true and living Elohim. Yahuwah of hosts is his name. Therefore, you will be able to see it and identify it. And most importantly, remove yourself from it and to protect your children from it. See, as Brother Marquise mentioned, don't say church. Don't say sin. That's a Babylonian moon god. See, that's straining that gnats and swallowing camels, man. That's just inconsequential because that information doesn't benefit anyone in the long run. Okay, sin is a moon god, but how would I be able to know that I was partaking in moon goddess worship if outside of just saying that sin is the name? Because it's not about saying the name. It's about listening and obeying the deity. It's about obeying the deity. 1 Thessalonians 4:1. Furthermore, then we beseech you, brethren, exhort you by the Lord Yahushua, that as you have received of us how you ought to walk, and to please Elohim, so would you abound more and more. For you know what commandment we gave you by the Lord Yahushua. For this is the will of Elohim, even your sanctification, that you should abstain from fornication, that every one of you should know how to possess his vessel in sanctification and honor, not in the lust of conspicuance, even as the Gentiles which know not Elohim. See, that's what they were doing at these revelings. They was getting freaky, and they were going into their lust. Well, remember, Bacchus and Dionysus ain't nobody but Osiris. That's Osiris. Or whatever they call that nigga, Asar. That's what they call that nigga. Kemet, they would call him Asar. They wouldn't have called him Osiris. He said that no man go beyond and defraud his brother in any matter, because the Lord is avenger of all such, as we've also forewarned you and testified. For Elohim have not called us unto uncleanliness, but unto Kadash. So notice that what it is, right? He is not called. Now let me show you the difference. Because see, with these deities, you can come beating and skeeting. They don't care nothing about it. Now come over here to Exodus 19 and see how Yahuwah do it. See, Yahuwah don't play them games. See, he don't play them type of games. You're not coming to him like that. See, he's not with that. And that's the other thing that Yahuwah is not. Yahuwah is not with sexual impropriety and the worship and service to him. He ain't with it. Go look at all these goddesses and gods and look at all the sexual impropriety that's tied to them. This is what they did at the rites and worship and feasts to these deities. They had orgies. You ain't having no orgy at the house of Yahuwah. That's not going down. He don't stamp that and he ain't with it. Look what he told your forefathers before they even approached unto him. Look what he told them. Exodus chapter 19, verse 14. Look at what he told them. He said, Moses went down from the mountain to the people and sanctified the people, and they washed their clothes. And he said unto the people, be ready against the third day. Come not at your wives. He said, if you're going to step to Yahuwah, he said, don't even touch your wives. Don't come to me. Don't come near me with that. I'm not on that. Remember what the priest told David when he came to get the shewbread? He said, have you at least abstained from women? He said, yeah, we ain't touched no women by 3 days. He said, cool. Well, Yahuwah is not with that. He's not with it. But guess what? Come over here to Exodus 32 and look at what your forefathers were doing with Baal. Around here venerating Osiris, if you will. That's what they was out there doing. When they tell you they were rising up to play, what you think they were doing? That's why Yahushua son of Nun had to tell you, you need to leave them gods on the other side of the flood. Don't you bring that freaky deaky stuff them niggas got going on in here, man. Don't you bring that in here. Well, we not on that. You wonder why you at the club, you all there sweating, feeling all freaky. Niggas go to the club looking for somebody to fornicate with because the spirit of Bacchus on them. Don't even know it. You wonder why all them frat parties, you don't even realize every college institution ain't nothing but a temple of Bacchus. And everybody tell you, go have the college experience. Go up there and be a whore. Get drunk and revel all day long. Be riotous at nighttime. After we read this Exodus 32, get 1 Thessalonians 5. And all you niggas know y'all went to them frat parties and sorority parties and what was going on. Revelry and orgies. Niggas around here serving back. You ought to know it. They Greek fraternities. What you think they gonna do? The spirit of Greek mythology all in the building. And niggas be ready to send their children to it. You need to go to college, get you a degree. You set them up to go to hell. Man, you can't even be that simple. That little clip I was looking at, I forgot the name of that movie, man. And the little girl was like, why are you gonna keep decisions on my life? He said, you don't know what you want to do with your life. She said, I do know what he said. You ain't gonna know what you want to do with your life till you about 45. And then by the end of you, you'll be too old to use it. Because you have to moderate a woman. You can't send a woman out in the world and tell her be free. We already went through that. Don't prostitute your daughter. Don't profane her and make her common and cause her to be a whore. Because the land will fall into whoredom. He done already told you that. But you got to let the woman be free. She is a goddess. She got to be free. She has to be moderated because she has the mind of a child. She's going to do what feels good because she's an emotional creature. This is why 1 Timothy 5 and 6 says she that live in pleasure is dead while she lives. That's why it said a younger woman ought to get married and guide the house before they fall into the reproach of the adversary. But see, nobody don't want to hear that in these times because you got liberal feminist women who ascribe to the doctrines and teachings of goddesses and gods or the mother goddess or Satan, if you will. Just keep it simple. He's saying when the people saw that Moses, this is Exodus 32:1. When the people saw that Moses delayed to come down out of the mount, the people gathered themselves together under Aaron and said unto him, up, make us gods which shall go before us. For as this Moses, the man that brought us up out of the land of Mizraim, we walk not what has become of him. Aaron said unto him, break off the golden earrings which are in the ears of your wives and your sons and of your daughters, and bring them unto me. And all the people break off the golden earrings were in their ears and brought them unto Aaron, and he received them at their hand, and they fashioned into it a graving tool, and he made it a molten calf, and they said, these be your gods, O Yasharal, which brought thee up out of the land of Mizraim. And Aaron saw it, and he built an altar before it, and Aaron made proclamation and said, tomorrow is the feast to Yahuwah. And they rose up early on the morrow and offered burnt offerings and brought shalom offerings. And the people sat down to eat and to drink and rose up to play. Oh, they was in there playing. Well, what you think they were playing with? Coochies and booty holes. That's what they was out there playing with. That's what they was out there playing with, participating in Bacchus rites. Huh? Niggas don't want to hear that, but you already know that Israel had a proclivity for playing with booty holes because you know what happened in Judges 19. You know Jeremiah, the book of Jeremiah, he said they all named after their neighbor's wife. In the book of Amos, he said two men going to the same woman. Let me show you that in Amos. So you don't think I'm playing niggas around here running trains. That man ain't cool with that junk. But guess what? All these other deities, they cool with you niggas being nasty. They cool with it. They ain't got no problem with it. I ain't finished with Asherah stinking behind either, that bald-headed hoe. Huh? We ain't through with that bald-headed hoe. I don't care nothing about no woman call herself a goddess. She's a dumb woman. She foolish. She don't know nothing. She's a simpleton. You know what I'm talking about? Tell them that to their face. You're simple. That's probably the worst thing you could tell somebody. Tell a nigga he's simple. Amos 2 and 6. Nigga don't want. I mean, my homeboy used to call his cousin. That nigga said, nigga, you's a simpleton. I used to die laughing. You know what I'm saying? This nigga told this nigga, he a simpleton. Nigga ain't say he was dumb. That nigga say, this nigga simple. You know what I'm talking about? Nigga, you can't think your way out of a paper bag, nigga. He said, thus saith Yahuwah, for 3 transgressions of Yasharal and for 4, I will not turn away the punishment thereof, because they sold the righteous for silver and the poor for a pair of shoes. They pant after the dust of the earth on the head of the poor. They turn aside the way of the meat, and a man and his father will go into the same maid to profane my Kadash name. He said, they'll go into the same maid. Well, why you think they're doing that? Fooling with Bacchus? Oh, yeah. Come on, son. Come, niggas getting strip holes for these boy birthdays, man. Running trains on them with it. You will say, you profaning my name, boy. You profaning my name. Huh? Some of them say get them for your 16, 14. I'll make you a man today, son. We think that's a rite of passage. It's one of my old hoes. I went and got a stripper hoe. Take care of my son for me. Wickedness. It's wickedness. You understand me? Well, you who ain't with, and I'm just showing you who ain't with that freaky stuff, man. Let's look at another freaky nigga. Let's pull in the information at number 25 and 1. Y'all know what Bel Peor, y'all know about Bel Peor and what that nasty nigga had going on. And I'm mentioning this here, man, and you can interchange it for whatever false deity you want to come up with. It don't make no difference. They was all doing the same thing. We're going to show you how Asherah like to have the male punks in her temple tossing booty around in a circle. See, a lot of dudes don't want to sit back and talk about this type of stuff just because, I mean, it is what it is. You need to sit back and understand and know. That's why you say the whole world lie in wickedness. If the whole world is serving their own gods, and we're going to look at that, all the nations serve their own gods, then what you think they out here doing? Hold on, man. I got to pull the rights up. Got to pull the rituals up, like what they like to do. Because they like to open holes. Why you think Yahuwah snapped so hard about them worshiping that calf, and he snapped so hard about Bel Peor? Why y'all think he snapped about that? They were doing freaky stuff, man. Numbers 25 and 1. Yasharallah abode in Shittim, and the people began to commit whoredom with the daughters of Moab. Notice that he said with who? Did he just say with Moab? He didn't know it was them women. When he let you know, they just wasn't worshiping another God. Let's just see what whoredom. They were doing more than just worshiping another God. They were getting freaky. I done told y'all before. That's where the practice of fellatio and conniglius come from. It comes from them. You ain't got no business with no man rod in your mouth, and you ain't got no business putting your mouth on no woman's vagina. You already can see that there. That's God. Nigga don't even realize you're putting your mouth on this woman's vagina. You're participating in goddess worship, because that's certainly what they got them niggas doing in Mecca. Oh, yeah. And that's a rough one. That's a rough one. Y'all don't even want to know, like these people at the end of the day, these people also worship genitalia. Like y'all know about the obelisk, the washing. That's a penis. Putting a wreath on your door for Christmas. That's a vagina. That's what these people do. It's sickening and disgusting and vile all the way through. When you look at the word for whoredom in this verse, it is zanah, a zayin, a noon, and a hay. It is to commit fornication, to be a harlot, to play the harlot, to act as a harlot, to commit adultery, and to be a cult prostitute. Also figuratively, to be unfaithful to Elohim. But it's a little freakiness going on. Look at what it said. They called the people unto the sacrifice of their gods, and the people did eat and bow down to their gods. And Yasharal joined himself under Bel Peor, and the anger of Yahuwah was kindled against Yasharal. But let's look at what Bel Peor liked to do. It said the scriptures speak of an incident where Yasharal is led astray into sexual sin. The seriousness of the event is so significant that he warned us about this in the book of Revelation. But let's sit back and let's see if we can get into more specifics on what these people will be out here doing. Because see, they telling stories about the script. We don't need all of that. See, no, they're not giving me the information that we need. Because there's a lot of obscene rituals that go along with Baal Peor, because these be fertility gods. And when you're dealing with fertility gods, they like to do freaky stuff. Let's look at Asherah as a, here goes somewhere, Asherah. She was a fertility goddess. They've discovered figurines of her. She's usually butt bookie naked, sometimes pregnant, with exaggerated breasts that she holds out. Apparently, as symbols of fertility, she promises her followers. So, she like to have her titties out, which is an inkling into Hathor. This is one of the reasons you see them women in Hollywood with their titties out. You can also look up the Hollywood, and you can see that is a magic wand. You know what I'm saying? Because they're a caster of spells. They're witches. They're warlocks. They're diviners. That's what they like to do. Hollywood. This is little things, little tree. You know what I'm saying? That was used for what is it called again? Witchcraft. It's witchcraft. That's what they like to do. But again, with Baal Peor, you know what I mean? They and the sister to put that up there, sex magic. We literally live in a society that really believes something is wrong if you're not. Indeed, if you was young and somebody asked you was a virgin and you told them yes, you got mocked. Because you live in a society that venerates and promotes whoredom. And remember this story with Baal Peor is when Phineas comes through with the spear and hits that Moab woman in her side and killed these men, because a very large amount of our people died that day. Because again, they were defiling the whole camp. When you're dealing with Baal Peor and the rites of Baal worship, you're dealing with obscene things. Booty is being eaten. Vaginas is being eaten. Penises are being sucked. Homosexual sex is going on. Quite possibly pedophilia. I didn't even say pedophilia, but pederasty. The love for young boys. This is all the stuff that sex magic. Y'all hear all that stuff they talk about them celebrities. Well, it's not necessarily the worship of Satan that they're doing, but the practicing of bacchanalian rites. You know what I'm saying? The practicing of the rites to Baal Peor. This is what they have to do in veneration to their God. See, Yahuwah does not. See, let me show you something. Numbers 13. See, Yahuwah don't want all that. Remember, Yahushua said it's not what come in the man that defile him, but what come out. He said lust, lascivious. Yahuwah is not with that. He said possess yourself with honor. Know how to control yourself. That man told you if you ejaculate, you got to wash your body. You're unclean. That man ain't with all of that. That's how you know the difference between Yahuwah and the other gods. Because there's gods of many. But there's only one true and living Elohim, the creator of all things. The Abba of his only begotten son. That man's name is Yahuwah of hosts. All the others are figmentations of someone's imagination. And it also shows you the lust of men, because this is why would you think? Ask yourself this here. This is Hebrews 13:1. Why would a deity require some type of sexual service? You know that's got to come from the mind of a carnal man. You know that's got to come from the mind of a carnal man. Because the living Elohim is a Ruach, and he seeks those that worship him to worship him in Ruach and in truth. So why would he compel his servants to participate in debauchery as a means to please him? That's how you know the difference. Yahuwah told you not to commit adultery. All these false deities tell you to do so. Yahuwah told you not to commit fornication. All these false deities tell you to do so. Yahuwah tells you not to participate in whoredom. All these false deities tell you to do so. So when you see that, you begin to understand that these are carnal pleasures. So you know they had to come from the mind of a man. Because Elohim is the only God on the planet that does not require this type of service. This is how you know it's real. Niggas like Yahuwah's made up. It's so made up that he told you to remain pure. And no other deity on the earth has this standard. And nobody sat to think about that. No other deity on the earth has that standard. All of them in the freaky stuff. except for one. And blessed be the name of Yahuwah by way of Yahusha. He the only one. Hebrews 13:1. Let the brotherly love continue. Be not forgetful to entertain strangers, for thereby some have entertained Malachim unaware. Remember them that are in bonds as bound with them, and them which suffer adversity, as being yourselves also in the body. Marriage is honorable in all, and the bed undefiled. But whoremongers and adulterers, Elohim will judge. And the married bed being, and niggas take that one there. The married bed, you can do anything in the married bed. No, you can't, nigga. Tell that lie. When he say the marriage bed is undefiled, because that's a clean bed. If you're not married, that's unclean, clown. That doesn't mean you can put your mouth on your husband's penis and your mouth on her vagina or her rectum. That doesn't mean you get married, you can do anything. That's not how Elohim rolls. You got people who serve you who will say it's acceptable for you to participate in that type of behavior because you don't know the difference between the rites or rituals or service of your Elohim or to the service of these other deities, because Yahuwah is not with that. If he killed your forefathers for worshiping Baal Peor doing all that, what make you think he wants you to do that in his name? I suck penis in the name of Yahuwah. You see how stupid that sounds? Certain stuff you need to say out loud so you can see how asinine it sounds, how retarded it sounds. Our Elohim is clean, and he ain't with all that junk. If you want to do all that, man, then go serve Baal Peor to the fullest. Don't bring that junk and put that on Yahuwah's name. You know you got to stand before that man one day and say he stamped that, right? Because you said it. You know you're going to have to go stand before him and say, but you said I could do that. I ain't never said you could do that. What made you think I was on that? What made you think I was on that? Man, look here. We were talking about that bald-headed hoe named Asherah. You know, she was also the goddess of future and happiness. These hoes be goddesses of so many different things, you can't keep up. 2 Kings chapter 23. You can't keep up with all the junk you got going. And I call her a whore because she is a whore. Because she's a whore that leads. A goddess ain't nothing but a whore. A goddess ain't nothing but a nice way to say whore. That's how your mind ought to think. Because she the whore of Babylon, huh? Trying to lead you astray and get you drunk off the wine of her fornication. Don't be simple. Don't give respect to something that's not worthy of respect. A false deity is not worthy of your respect. What you say? What any of y'all say? Is a false deity worthy of respect? Should I show respect to Asherah? Absolutely not. So that's why I'm speaking in the fashion that I'm speaking, because to set the example that I have no respect for a false deity at all. I have no respect. 2 Kings chapter 23 and verse 3. I have no respect. I have no respect whatsoever. The king stood by a pillar and made a covenant before Yahuwah to walk after Yahuwah and to keep his commandments and his testimonies and the statutes with all their heart and all their soul, to perform the words of this covenant that were written in this book. And all the people stood to the covenant. Well, our covenant says that we ought not to worship idol gods, nor participate in anything that these people do in veneration to their gods. As strange as it might seem, these people participate. I know that's right. These people participate, you know what I'm talking about, and foul things in veneration to their gods. That's what they do. So why would I have respect for that? My Elohim is Kadash, clean, just, and upright. Elohim of judgment, righteous and just is he. Let his name be praised and baruched continually forever out the mouth of all men. I ain't praising and baruching and honoring and esteeming and reverencing no whore. A whore is not worthy of respect on no level, male or female. They're not worthy of respect. What is respectable about them? And the king commanded Hilkiah the high priest and the priests of the second order and the keepers of the door to bring forth out of the temple of Yahuwah all the vessels that were made for Baal and for the grove. That's the Asherah pole. Pause. Ain't that something? She had a pole. You also got something called the maypole. You familiar with the maypole? Any of y'all on here familiar with the maypole? Who on here familiar with the maypole? That's just real weird to continually say pole over and over again. Pause. You know what I'm saying? Well, if you're not familiar with the maypole, you ever seen a pole that had like little streamers coming out of it and people would hold on to it and run around in circles?
Oh yeah, but I ain't familiar with the text.
Yeah, it's not in the text. Maypole is something they do on May Day, May 1st. May 1st is probably the highest satanic holy day on the earth. You know what I'm saying? Go look it up, man. May Day is a very, very wicked day. Human sacrifice is required. We were just looking at this here because D had something with a dude, a billionaire who died. Yeah, it's definitely in Hispanic culture. Who died on the 4th, and the 4th is a high pagan holiday. You know what I'm saying? Sacrifice is required because it's for the summer solstice. That's why they call it Midsummer's Eve. The summer solstice is actually like June 23rd, but they just wait 11 days and venerate it on the 4th of July. You know what I'm saying? Same token, I mean, Mother's Day is clearly, they worshiping the mother goddess, and it's another goddess. They really, on Mother's Day, they really worshiping Gaia. Let me read you about Gaia while we're here, because I said I was going to do that. I'll try to get it now. I see it's 11 o'clock. I'm going to probably keep going. So, yeah, just so you know. That's not what I mean. Here we go with Gaia, this wicked whore. Gaia is the ancestral mother of all life, the primal Mother Earth goddess. She's the immediate parent of Uranus, Pause, the god of the sky, from whose sexual union she bore the Titans, themselves parents of many of the Olympian gods. Now, I think most of you know, because that's where I think we did it at an elementary school, keep it May Day. You know what I'm saying? Mess around with. They don't have the maypoles in them elementary schools like that no more. Now let me tell you something, right? Because you always hear them white folks on here, Mother Nature's raining down on. They give veneration to Gaia. And again, remember Yahuwah say, I bring the early and latter rain. They don't want to give credit to Yahuwah. Every single solitary time they want to give his praise and esteem to somebody else. And I'm just sitting here mentioning this to you so you could sit back, because some of you should, I would have wagered, have already went back in the recesses of your mind and thought about certain things that you've seen and realized, like, whoa, these people are really worshiping. That's the reason why I won't wear a Tennessee Titans jersey, because I know that that's in veneration to the Titans of Greek mythology. You know what I'm saying? Y'all already know about, you might as well shoot. Wiccan's wicked, you shoot. I feel how you feel. Remember, I told you, man, my sister messed around and messed with them Wiccans. She didn't know it was witchcraft till the nigga told her, then she had to leave it alone. Not Little Muffin now. Little Muffin ain't gonna mess with no witches. It's just not. Little Muffin was an innocent child for a little while. Yeah, yes, definitely. The Wiccans definitely danced around the maypole. You absolutely right. Also with Midsummer's Eve, because that's what Stonehenge is for. Stonehenge was a place where, the Celts venerated their deities. You know what I'm saying? And among that, they would come out there and worship the sun. Like I told you before, weed got the name cannabis because the Egyptians were out there smoking weed to the Dog Star Sirius because they were worshiping the stars. You know what I'm saying? Like human beings worship the creation more than the creator. We serve the creator, so we don't worship any of these things. We know that these things were made for his esteem and honor to be able to assist us in esteeming him. So we have no need to worship these things. Niggas around here praying to Gad, the god of fortune, all that type of stuff. Niggas just stupid. We stupid. You know what I'm saying? We're just stupid. Because you can get anything you want from Yahuwah, but you don't want to restrain your behavior. Ain't that sad? That's what happened when you ain't got no God. She said that she was the parents of the Olympians and the giants and of Pontus, from whom union she bore the primordial sea gods. So Mother Nature is responsible for Ariel the mermaid. She's responsible for this bald-headed hoe. And niggas happy. We got a black goddess. Stupid nigga. Niggas in the word on that. Supposed to have more sense than that. They don't care as long as it's black. That's how you know niggas don't love Yahuwah, because you happy that something happened as long as it's a black person. It ain't about if they black. It ain't about if they white. It ain't about if they're Yahudim. It about if they ain't. It's about is it just and right in the eyesight of Yahuwah. Period. It's about what's right in the sight of Yahuwah. Don't get caught up in that junk. It's a black person. And I'm going to talk to y'all about how niggas got triggered by that basehead Chris Brown too. Stop letting these people move and sway your emotions. Same way niggas got triggered by Colin Kaepernick with that shoe. Don't even know if he said that. Stop letting people trigger you. That's why they do this type of stuff. That's why because that ain't nothing but a spell. They cast spells to control your emotions. You can't, a spell don't work on somebody who's spiritual, because how could the spell work? They're controlled by Elohim. When you're controlled by your emotions, any spell can work, because spells are not what you think they are. They're emotional manipulation. It's emotional manipulation. Continuing with Gaia. She's the equivalent in the Roman pantheon of Terra. Her offspring is the god Typhoon, Python, Ceto, Gigante, Cyclops. She ain't got no parents. You see that there? No parents.
No, that's the top ranking woman of God.
Top ranking woman. And why you will it? Because I don't need no man. I didn't say basic. I don't need no man. Why you think that come in? Where you think that mentality come in at? Black one, I don't need no man. She thinks she Gaia. Huh? She thinks she a mother goddess. She came here and created herself. This whole thing, she Melchizedek. This junk here make your head hurt. You know what I'm talking about? Protect your children, man. Y'all better not take your children to see no doggone Little Mermaid. Ron here, like this here, you Ron here. Look at Ariel, stupid nigga. Ariel in Hebrew mean lion. That's a chapter about Ariel in the 29th chapter of the book of Isaiah, man. These niggas got the nerve to name their pagan deity after the lioness, and then Isaiah 29 is representative of Yahusha. They had the nerve. The unmitigated gall. Lord have mercy. 23 and 4, 2 Kings, man. I'm trying to tell you, man, these people evil, man. They evil, man. They don't play no game, man. People evil, man. The king commanded Hilkiah, the high priest, and the priests of the second order, the keepers of the door, to bring forth out of the temple of Yahuwah all the vessels that were made for Baal and for the grove and for all the host of heaven. And he burned them without Jerusalem in the fields of Kidron and carried the ashes of them under Bethal. And he put down the idolatrous priests. And see, I didn't even get to the Hebrew word for idol. Y'all willing, we'll get to it on the morrow. But let's look at this idolatrous priest. Because you got a lot of idolatrous priests out here, man. Say we got to kill them. And most I willing, we're going to take all this here and tie it to the beast. You know what I'm saying? Because we have to set the stage for the idolatry first to get to the last and greatest form of idolatry that will come last. And that's how you'll be able to be prepared for it and not fall victim to the okie-doke. The word for idolatrous priest here is kamar, kaf, meme, Rosh. And the thing that you see when they got that meme in their form is they cause chaos. And I know I mentioned that and I didn't even get to it. They cause chaos. Because you have to watch for people for that. You have to watch for people for that. People, because Yahuwah is about order. And when that order coming in, that's peace. People who like to cause strife, contention, discord, just outright chaos and chaotic nature, they are the adversary. That person is not an Elohim. He didn't write that. Yeah, you have to cast it away and get rid of it. And I was mentioning that to you Wednesday before the sound went out. Like, these crackers are so slick. Come over here to Deuteronomy chapter 7. These people are so slick that in order for you to get idols in Deuteronomy 7 and 23, that they make these action figures, which are nothing but little idols, so you can bring them into your house. And they make these action figures of these characters of whom they have created, which are really in representation of their gods. So in your mind, you playing with Hulk or Superman or Batman or well, Thor is self-explanatory because that is known that this is a Nordic god, Loki or what a nigga named Thanos or Magneto or Professor X or Wolverine, Spider-Man. Whole time for them, this is a personification of their god, and now you got it in your house. You know what I'm saying? And you don't see it that way because you're not privy to what they're doing. He said, but Yahuwah your Elohim shall deliver them unto you, and you shall destroy them with a mighty destruction until they be destroyed. He shall deliver their kings into your hand, and you shall destroy their name from under Shamahim. There shall no man be able to stand before you until you have destroyed them. The graven images of their gods shall you burn with fire. You shall not desire the silver and gold that is on them, nor take it unto you, lest you be snared therein. It's going to be a trap. For it is an abomination to Yahuwah your Elohim. Neither shall you bring an abomination into your house, lest you be a cursed thing like it, but you shall utterly detest it, and you shall utterly abhor it, for it is a cursed thing. So we're supposed to hate idols. And there's another verse that states that, how Yahuwah hates idols. Let's take a look at it, Deuteronomy 16. He hates idols. (16) and 18, I surmise. He said, judges and officers shall you make in all your gates, which Yahuwah your Elohim give you throughout your tribe. They shall judge the people with just judgment. You shall not wrest judgment. You shall not respect persons, neither take a gift, for the gift do blind the eyes of the wise and pervert the words of the righteous. That which is altogether just shall you follow. That which is just in the eyesight of Yahuwah is what you ought to follow. You would ought to not to. That's why Yahushua said, follow me, because he was that just one. That which is altogether just. Why you think Yahushua kept telling you, follow him? Follow me, follow me. Because he's the just one. All that is just, that's what you follow. He wouldn't tell you to follow him if he wasn't just. That which is altogether just shall you follow, that you may live. And Yahushua told you, if you follow him, you will live. And again, that's telling you the knowledge of Kadash's understanding. And when you have it, you will multiply your years and extend your days. And inherit the land which Yahuwah your Elohim give you. You shall not plant you a grove or Asherah or any trees near unto the altar of Yahuwah your Elohim, which you shall make. Neither shall you set up any image which Yahuwah your Elohim hate. This man detests idols. This is why Peter described as abominable idolatries, because it's detestable in his eyesight. It's something that's abominable, something that he hates. Not only on top of that, but then the drunkenness and the riot. So I meant to get to 1 Thessalonians 5. He said, we're not children of the night who riot. Let's get that 1 Thessalonians 5. Because that's what these people were doing at these rituals. Like most people, Lupercalia, a.k.a. Valentine's Day. Look it up and look what the people did. Marquise mentioned earlier Saturnalia. I done said it ad nauseum what the people did. They exchanged gifts, had homosexual sex with their friends, and went home and beat up their wives. This is what these people did in the venerance of Saturnalia. Come on, man. This man say on his feast days, every man ought to eat and to come and to worship before him and to hear his word. Not get drunk and participate in debauchery. First Thessalonians chapter 5. 5 and 4. He said, but you, brethren, are not in darkness, that day should overtake you as a thief. You are children of the light. We'll put it this way. You are the sons of light and the sons of the day. We are not of the night nor of darkness. Therefore, let us not sleep as do others, but let us watch and be sober. For they that sleep, sleep in the night. Oh, St. Patrick, all about getting. And St. Patrick was a real person. And he was a wicked bastard on top of that. And they that be drunken in the night. Like if you pay attention to all these holidays, St. Patrick's Day, as I just mentioned, get drunk, revel, and party. And at some point in all that reveling, somebody is going to commit fornication or adultery before this night is over with. And Yahuwah ain't with that. You don't read nowhere about no feast of Yahuwah with this man with let's get freaky, y'all. Who want to get freaky? He ain't command nobody to do none of that. They command for this stuff to be done. Let's get freaky. Let's get drunk and freaky. Why do you think he told you don't be no drunkard? Because that's what everybody was around them were doing. But you only would know that when you know that the rites and rituals of these people's cultures, of their gods, then you understand why Yahuwah gave you those laws, because a lot of these laws was in regards to how these people worship their deities. And he's not with that. You're not worshiping me like that. I'm not on that because I'm not a man. See, these rites and rituals come from the minds of men. Elohim this is how you know Yah is real. This is another reason why I'm going through all this information. If you got an ear to hear and a heart to understand and eye to see, then you know Yahuwah is real and he exists, and Yahushua shall stand upon the earth on the latter day. I know my Redeemer lives. Period, point blank. And it's from the most, I would say, odd things to some people that confirm his existence, and it lines up exactly with his word. Back to 2 Kings, though. I ain't even get to this bald-headed whole Diana, but y'all willing, I get to it tomorrow. Because we got some stones to hit that bald-headed hoe upside the head with, too. We don't fool with no goddesses, man. Whether the made-up kind or a silly woman who calling herself one right now. We don't fool with stuff. She's a simple woman. And everybody who fool with her, you don't even realize you fooling with this goddess's death at the door. I ain't even got to that point yet. We read them verses in Proverbs, but we're going to get to them and line all that stuff up and show you. This is one of the reasons why Yahuwah always warned you about a woman. Like I told you, the woman didn't have an opportunity to pick a man. So there was no need for him to warn a woman about a man. But this is also another reason why Paul said, men who take captive silly women with diverse lusts. Because it's easy for a wicked man to get a woman who got diverse lusts, because he can use her lust and her emotions against her for his gain. Dirty Diana, you better know it. That's who you know. You know who Mike was singing about. Dirty Diana was a whore. Nigga singing Dirty Diana. Mike said he didn't want nothing to do with Dirty Diana. He knew she was messed up. Mike was running from Diana. Diana was trying to get him to commit adultery. Mike wasn't with it. She got him in the end, though. She got him in the end. Everybody loved Billie Jean, and Mike was around here singing about fornicating with another man and saying, that ain't my baby. The first nigga to be on Maury. That ain't my baby. That ain't my son. Nigga, Mike, we know you ain't like no vagina, nigga. Don't lie to us and tell us them your churn. Them white churn. Just because you got vitiligo don't mean your DNA structure changed. Them white churn. Your child got blue eyes, nigga, and straight hair. It's not your baby. You know what I'm talking about? Then we were looking at a little meme where nigga was talking about people mad because Lil Nas X was a punk. You should have known that nigga was son. This nigga came out of nowhere. Who is this nigga? Where did he come from? Oh, we ain't got no business fooling with astrology. You know what I'm saying? I'd have to dig out some information. I read about astrology in prison too. Bo Rickle. Witchcraft. Oh, absolutely not. He said don't suffer a witch to live. Witch ain't even supposed to live, man. Ain't he supposed to live? She supposed to be killed. You know what I'm saying? We got plenty of witches. Jay-Z a witch. A warlock, I should say. I remember Elton John stated out his mouth that he had never wrote a song that wasn't in witch language. Beyonce is a witch. You know what I'm saying? Pretty much every one of your favorite actors and entertainers and musicians are witches because they're casting spells. Casting spells is just, like I told you, it's just emotional and mental manipulation. It's programming. It's not like how they showed us in cartoons as a kid with a lady with a little pot and she's putting all this stuff in it and saying all this old crazy stuff. It's to implant thoughts into your mind. And that they, like we mentioned before, it's why they play the same songs over and over and over and over again, because they're just casting that spell. They're just casting that spell. They're putting those words into the air. And that hopefully that those words latch on into your subconscious. Why do you think the words supposed to be recited and preached? Like Deuteronomy literally means the rehearsal, the reciting, the telling of again. So it's for that purpose. You know what I'm saying? You have to think about stuff like that. Witchcraft is bad. Suffer not a wish to live. Astrology and divination and necromancy, that's in Deuteronomy 18. Yahuwah said you don't have to do any of that stuff. You got him.
What you saying?
Second Chronicles 20, Kings 20.
What?
Oh man, y'all are humorous. 2 Kings 23:6. And he brought out the grove from the house of Yahuwah without Jerusalem unto the brook of Kidron, and burnt it at the brook of Kidron, and stamped it to small powder, and cast the powder thereof upon the graves of the sons of the people. So they took all them idols and they poured it right on the graves of the people who worship him. Listen to the next part. He break down the houses of the Sodomites that were by the house of Yahuwah, where the women wove hangings for the grove. Well, sodomite there is male temple prostitute. So these people, absolutely playing numbers is definitely big. Definitely big. Which ain't nothing but the lottery. So ain't that something? They locked you up for playing numbers and then they made billions for doing the same thing. Now the word for is kadashe. See, it's not kadash, you got to put an A on it for the pump. Because when you look at it, it's going to look like it say Kadesh. But it's Kadashe. Because, you got to put you know what I'm saying? Yeah, put the A on Monet. So let's put a pump. Y'all said, don't you play with me like that. Change that up a little bit. That nigga sweet. You know what I'm saying? But that's a male temple prostitute. These niggas was so bold that they built a temple next to the house of Yah to sell butt. Some of them might have been selling penis, but 9 times out of 10, them niggas was selling butt with an Asherah pole next to it. You got a nigga coming to the Asherah pole, and guess what the women out there doing? Weaving stuff for the groves. When they say wove, it's a rag. So they was around there weaving cloths, hanging it up for the Asherah pole. And for their word hangers is bot. So they were wreathing for the house of Asherah. And you know what was going on in there. You know what was going on in there. That's why we started with that 1 John 5, the whole world lie and wickedness. Guess what go on in a lot of these houses of Asherah now? You call them Christian churches. A lot of bumping uglies going on. A lot of hunching going on. Because that's how you have to worship these deities. That's what they require. They don't require, really say, Yahuwah's not called, Elohim has not called us unto uncleanliness, but to Kadash, to be set apart. That's why Paul had to make that distinction to the people in Thessalonica. Because these deities were calling people to uncleanliness. So people were doing all types of stuff. All types of stuff. Now I have to pull out more information for you to say. I mean, because there's too many stuff that said we would actually have to pull stuff out and look at it. You know what I'm saying? For you to actually see how these people worshiping their gods. One thing we were just looking at was the breakdown of the movie Us and how they were showing you the duality. Because some people big on duality. You know what I'm saying? That's why the Masonic temples have checkerboards in it. That's why the yin and yang is black and white, because that's why they do that. That's for duality. Yahuwah is not with that. He doesn't do duality. You know what I'm saying? And that's why we be mixing stuff. You can't be mixing all this stuff up with Yahuwah, because Yahuwah is separate. And the stuff that these people do, Yahuwah don't do. But for right now, we'll stop for right now, because there's too much information to jam pack. It's already 11:23. We'll say hallelujah for Yahushua. You know, blessings and praise and honor and esteem continually be to the name of Yahuwah and the name of Yahushua HaMashiach. You know, let his shalom and his goodness and his mercy rest upon you. Continually purge yourself of all unrighteousness and fruit yourself in the foundation of the faith, that you might receive that gift of the Ruach HaKodesh and be quickened to life everlasting, that your name may be written in heaven. I bless everybody out of the house of y'all name of Yahushua. I appreciate your time. But yeah, you know, we wasn't going to do the usual, because we still got more stuff to look at, but we just want you to see the difference. Remember the law. He said, I made a difference between the Egyptians and the children of Yasharal. You need to know the difference. Like we know the difference between Yahuwah and the other deities, but you need to know the difference. Because we're going to look at some more of them besides Asherah. And like Diana is mentioned in this book. Tammuz is mentioned in this book. Ashtaroth is mentioned in this book. We looked at Baal Peor, but Baal Peor and Baal is pretty much the same thing. You know what I'm saying? Like they all on the same type of time. Debauchery. Do your own research on your own time. Stop always seeking to be entertained and seek to put something in your brain to learn and develop yourself. You know what I'm saying? You take the time to learn new things to develop yourself, especially of a historical nature. And when I say of historical nature, more specifically, learning of the cultures, even more specifically of the cultures that surrounded us as a people. They even learn about the cultures of who this country is founded from. You know what I'm saying? That's based off of. Because it's especially specifically Kemet and Babylon. You know what I'm saying? Rome and Greece is one and the same. You know what I'm saying? If you study Greece, you're gonna learn about Rome. You learn about Rome, you're gonna learn about Greece. Because they pretty much are identical. You know what I'm talking about? And truth be told, the original Greeks were black anyway. So a lot of the stuff that they had going on, that were black people with that old faggot stuff. You know what I'm talking about? You know, take the time to learn about, because we've been talking about this too, like, you know, in Europe during the Dark Ages, that was your people ruling. And a lot of us come from that stock of people. That's why my personal opinion, I feel like a lot of brews who come from that stock of people who lived in that area at that time, that's why they have a ruling class mentality, the mind of a king, the mind of an owner, a controller. They don't have the mind of a slave, because there's a difference. Slaves beg. Slaves play the victim. You know what I'm saying? It's a different thought process. Somebody with a ruling class mentality, the mentality of a king, of royalty, of headship, they think different. They hold themselves accountable. They don't have time to play the victim. They're forward thinkers. They don't have any doubt that no one can stop them from doing anything. They don't blame. You know what I'm saying? That's a lot of things that go along with that. That's why when you see Yahusha moving and you see how they say he don't talk like the scribes talk, he talked as one with authority, because he already knew he was a son of Elohim and the king. That's why he had a ruling class mentality. That's why when you take on the mind of Mashiach, you'll have the same thought process. And having a thought process because, you know, we love to say we're kings. You ain't got no business calling no woman no queen. Because nowhere in the history of the house of Yasharal was any woman ever called a queen or a Malka, to be specific. Niggas just jump on waves and trends and follow them. Your forefathers ain't. Well, Abraham and say my queen. He didn't do that. Stop being lame. You know what I'm saying? He didn't do that. If you need someone to call you a queen to boost up your self-esteem and your self-worth, you've got bigger problems. Forget the etymology of the word queen. That's irrelevant. You have bigger problems if you need titles to make you feel better about yourself. You need a whole mind transformation. If it takes somebody calling you a king or queen to boost you up, you have bigger problems. You need to talk to somebody. You need to get a therapist. You need to talk to your friends or family, and you need to talk to Yahuwah because you got a problem. I mean, but not only gays, all sinners need to be put down. But guess what? Yahusha got put down so we could be lifted up with him. So that's the thought process that we got to have. We can't look at it and say a gay need to be put down and then don't feel like a liar or a fornicator, an adulterer, or an idolater ought to be put down. Because they ought to be put down right along with the punk. Because a punk ain't no more sicker than a nigga who cheating on his wife or a whoremonger or a fornicator in my estimation. And I felt that way since the entire time I've been in the word. A homosexual ain't no worse than any other sinner. But see, the key point is that just like Paul wrote to the Corinthians, as were some of us, but we were washed. And we've been regenerated in the name of a Mashal. So we have to keep that into account. Like I told you, I done sat down and taught word with homosexuals before, and I ain't come from because they already know they're wrong. So me coming at them saying you ought to be killed for being a punk is not going to get them to convert. Because the objective is not to get them to turn from their sin. That's the goal. We have to remember, y'all have to remember that. If your desire is to bring people to Yahuwah, then your desire should get them to turn from their sin. Not beat them up for their sin, because they already know they're wrong. I remember that punk, he like to say, he was like, man, so am I going to hell? I say, man, you already know that. He said, yeah, I do. I said, you already know that. So I don't know why you asked me that, but I'm going to tell you. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I'm not going to lie to you. He respected me for it. Was he going to repent? He was like, no. But he respected that I kept it honest with him. I mean, yeah, but I mean, we the worst because we hard-headed because you had the oracles of Elohim and you rejected them. That's what make us stupid. Because you had a culture and a standard of righteousness and you seen the debauchery and the depravity and the wickedness going on around you from the people who did not have what you had, and you chose to want to be like them. Well, I mean, if that's how you see it, that's your perspective. You're entitled to it. I can't speak to how great slavery was because I wasn't alive at that time. But I was willing to wager that the individuals who participated would have definitely a different point of view. So, nevertheless, you have to look at stuff. It's just like stuff that they take. Well, if you want to see me back in chains, that's your objective. People want to see a lot of things. Unfortunately for you, you won't get to see that. But surely you'll see a nice man of a dark complexion whose feet are bronze, look like bronze, burned in the fire, with a green girdle down to the foot, hair white as snow, with a sword coming out of his mouth to render judgment upon all the wicked. And clearly, based off of your words, you seem to possibly fall into that classification. So it's quite possible that judgment might fall upon your head if you don't have enough good sense to repent and acknowledge that Yahuwah is the living Elohim and Yahusha is his only begotten son. And that you ought to live in Kadashtus and turn from your proclivity of stupidity, that which you're exhibiting at a high level at this present time, and serve the living Elohim for the salvation of your soul. If you thought that your ignorant statements would bring some type of rise out of me, clearly you are sadly mistaken. And clearly you need something to do with your life because clearly you're alone and don't have anyone to care for you, to direct such misguided energy. You very well may need someone to talk to comfort you in your sadness. And it's unfortunate that you're in that particular. So you're a tough guy, huh? So that lets me know that you're a man of the weakest order, soft as drugstore cotton, if you will. Because you're on the internet talking about you show love with your fists. So that shows you clearly that you're a man of low-grade intelligence, of which you're not even worthy of having a conversation with. So at this present time, I will spare myself from being made dumber for even listening or entertaining your incoherent thoughts. So nevertheless, it's sitting back and the objective is to cause people to return to Yahuwah. That's our duty. That's our job. That should be the goal. If the goal is not to get people to turn back to Yahuwah, then what is the point? You know, it says that, he that winneth souls is wise. You know what I mean? So that's what it is, give thanks to Yahuwah in the name of Yahushua, man. It's a blessed, beautiful thing. It's a Shabbat, you feel me? Get to rest in his word, rejoice in his righteousness. You know what I'm saying? Continue to be strengthened and move one day closer to you be able to utter the words that Paul stated to Timothy, that I fought a good fight. I kept the course. I finished the faith. You know what I'm saying? I held the faith. Now a crown of life is laid up for me. That's what it's about right there, man. You know what I'm talking about? You know what I'm saying? That's what it's about right there, man. Ain't about nothing other than that, man. You know what I mean? Praise y'all, man. But you who are willing, we'll pick it up on tomorrow. Got a lot more information to continue to go through. You know what I'm saying? So again, blessings to everybody out the house of y'all name of Yahushua. Stay strong in the faith, keep yourself rooted, mind focused on the things that be in Shamahim and not the things on the arrest. Continue to sanctify yourself through the truth, as Yahushua sanctified himself through the truth, that you might receive the Ruach HaKodesh and be quickened in your inward parts and receive life everlasting, that we might enter into the kingdom of Elohim. So Yahuwah willing, till that time, yeah. Good grief. Yes, I would like to.